You're listening to episode 270 of the Comics Pals. We're a group of comic book journalists and friends who record a podcast together because we don't talk enough about comics in our daily lives.
So here's my burning question for everyone, since this is our Christmas edition or our holiday edition. Which comic book character was most likely to be visited by three ghosts last night?
Ooh.
Moon Knight.
No, those are just his personalities.
Just not Christmas ghosts, just regular ghosts.
Wolverine.
My mind immediately went to Wilson Fisk. I don't know.
Boy, the Ghost of Christmas Past probably spent a long time on Wolverine's past.
Yeah.
It's just him 3 times.
Yeah.
John Constantine.
Oh, that's kind of fun.
He's gonna exercise
Oh.
them.
Yeah, he would probably exercise them, or they'd be ghosts of his friends.
Oh, is that fun at least? I don't know.
No, he would have been the reason they were ghosts.
And yeah, it would probably be sad.
It would be very sad.
Really
Off to a real
really
banger
light
start right
Christmas
here.
Eve, yeah.
I was gonna say like Lex Luthor or something.
Sure.
I didn't
He's
think
like-
about it.
Ghosts.
He's a real Scrooge.
Yeah, he is the DC Scrooge.
Well, DC also owns. No, that's Disney. So Disney would be like Scrooge McDuck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've seen
That's
that movie. That already exists.
That's been done.
That's real.
That's been done.
But have they crossed over with the MCU? I
Not
don't
yet.
know.
Not yet.
Howard.
Oh.
Scrooge McHoward the Duck. McHoward
In-
the Duck.
In an MCU scenario, would Scrooge McDuck be a multiverse version of Howard? Could they have a meeting in Secret Wars?
Oh,
Whoa.
I like that.
I've heard
Well-
worse ideas. Let's do it.
Yeah.
I'm not even into it, but I just threw it out there.
Spider-Man
you know?
No Way Home got off the floor. That might as well.
There's a rich history of Disney ducks in comics. You know, we got to just get them rolled into the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
I don't know if you guys realize this, but in the original draft of Iron Man from 2008, Robert Downey Jr.'s face turn was actually because he was visited by three ghosts.
I believe that.
Is that true?
Yeah. I wouldn't lie.
As he shakes his head, no.
I
Yeah.
wouldn't lie. The listeners and viewers at home.
Wow. How are you going to lie to the listeners? How are you going to lie to me
On Christmas.
on Christmas?
On this, the day of our Savior's birth, Robert Downey Jr.
Oh, hold on.
No, my savior is Kevin Feige.
My
He
savior
saved
has a
me
lot
from-
better facial hair. I'll tell you that right now.
He saved me from having to watch all the Pirates of the Caribbean movies.
He did. He did deliver you from that evil.
Yep. Absolutely.
Wait till that Marvel What If.
What if
Sean killed himself
Christmas.
halfway through the Pirates of the Caribbean marathon live on Twitch?
Why?
Oh, you don't even know because we had a bet where if Spider-Man came out already. It is what it is. I'm
Yep.
sorry if you guys didn't see it. Skip this part if you need to. We had a
Spoiler.
bet that if Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire did not appear in No Way Home, that I would have to watch all the Pirates of the Caribbean movies and stream it. And I said, the only one who can save me from this fate is Kevin Feige.
That's right.
he did?
So thankfully he came through for me.
It sucks that you got put on the end of that bet and no one else had to be on the other end of it. Like if they were in the movie, then
no,
everyone else would have to read Onslaught or something.
I had a condition. I had to say things with a
Rascals.
smile. Yeah. It was tough.
I thought it was.
don't believe you actually were able to accomplish it.
He
no,
did.
I
know what?
It was
I did the whole
bogus.
thing.
He did his
Oh,
best.
Watch
I did the
back.
whole thing. Yeah, watch the
Watch
YouTube.
I'm happy. I'm Kale. Ah.
I thought Tobey Maguire looked like a normal 40-year-old man.
That's a Protestant smile if I've ever seen one.
So this is our last show of the year, which is pretty cool, I guess. We've done how long have we been doing this? For 5 years,
5
4
years?
years, 5 years.
5, yeah.
So this is like our fifth end of year episode.
God.
As ever, we're going to go over our predictions from last year, what we got right and what we got wrong. Should be interesting. We're going to make some predictions for the new year. We've got news as ever. We're going to be watching the Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness trailer together. We're going to talk about the return of the Punisher. That should be interesting.
Let's go.
And a huge casting announcement for Batgirl that definitely casts a shadow over that movie. A bat-sized shadow, if you will.
Ooh.
Not a bat light?
Huh?
Not
Cast
a bat light?
The bat light casts the shadow. That's what he's trying to do.
I see. Okay.
I like how you said bat light and not bat signal, which is an actual thing in the universe where there's a light and.
Pete, you got to remember who you're talking to.
I know,
he probably thinks it's called the bat light.
What else would it be? But bat signal's silly. It's a fucking light.
No.
It's a signal.
He's talking about
A
the little
signal
thing in his
light.
bedroom that helps him sleep
sometimes
at
Batman
night.
gets scared.
His little
We
bat
need
light.
a night light.
Alfred, after you tuck me in, don't forget to turn on my nighty lighty.
The bat light.
Alfred, I'm scared of bats and I'm scared of the dark.
Unreal.
What's the point of all those push-ups if you're scared of the dark, Master Bruce?
Moose.
Who you calling Master Bruce? Who are you calling Master Bruce?
It's the spot on
love
Michael
you,
Caine impression.
Master
It's like Michael
Bruce.
Caine was here.
Oh my god.
I can't believe we got Michael Caine on for the last show of the year. It's incredible.
I
Wow,
love you,
lucky us.
Master Bruce.
Oh my god. Wow.
It does cast a looming shadow. You're right.
We do have some stuff to talk about. I have an announcement to make of my own. I actually learned this week that I have COVID. So that sucks. That's been afflicting myself and my girlfriend the whole week. So our Christmas was a little bit weird. We're gonna live, I'm pretty sure. Something like it'd have to be a crazy turn for me to just die now.
We'll see what happens next episode.
That's true. Yeah, if I'm not here,
Good attitude, Marco.
just assume that I'm dead.
So someone probably should have volunteered to host for you. You know, like good friends, good co-hosts of the podcast.
I've learned what to
people
expect.
who could breathe.
It's this is what it is. This is my life.
Wow. Well, Kelly, you really could have stepped up to the plate, but guess what? You got struck out before you even got there.
Mm-hmm.
You
He just
gotta know
called
you're
himself out.
You got to know you're at bat before you can.
He was practicing his Protestant smile instead of knowing that he was up in the batting order.
If you want to help me survive COVID, one thing that I heard really helps is to see your subscribers numbers go up on YouTube.
I have heard that.
So yeah,
Interesting.
so if you want to give me the gift of surviving COVID, just head on over to youtube.com/the comics pals and subscribe to our channel for free. Like the video, share it with your friends. All that stuff's free to do, and it helps us out a lot more than it costs you. Leave us a rating and a review. Follow wherever you listen to us. Spotify now does 5-star. You can give shows ratings now, so head on over to Spotify, give us a 5-star rating over there if you're so inclined. Thank you very much. Hope you all had a tremendous Christmas. Obviously, with Omicron sweeping several nations, Christmas is a little different this year. Last year we kind of got a reprieve, or at least some of us did. But this year, of course, not the best. So hopefully you were able to find fun and you got some cool comic swag. Send us pictures of whatever it is that you got for Christmas if you were hyped about it. Because we like that kind of shit.
Yo, friend of the show, Brian Del Pozo, posted his Christmas gift haul, and he got a Gargoyles action figure, and I'm fucking jealous.
Yo.
By the way, how lucky are we that we were able to go to New York Comic Con, leave unscathed, and the first case of the new variant happened at Otaku Con in New York like a month later?
What we're more glad of is that I didn't actually go because I had plans to.
Oh my god!
to
Of
go.
course you did, you weeb.
You definitely would have caught COVID.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, Marco would have
We're dodging bullets left and right.
he would have caught the weeb variant.
It's the worst of them all.
The Naruto variants.
It has a weird side effect of you walking up and giving you anime eyes.
You start doing the Naruto run everywhere.
Yeah. Nani, huh?
Nani?
In addition to the fact, as we discussed last week, that this is indeed Pete's last show on the podcast, Phil does actually have an announcement to make as well. So I'm going to turn it over to Phil.
Yeah, due to career situations, I'm sure everyone has noticed for the last 6 weeks, and really for the last half year, I haven't really been able to be on the show. I got a promotion at my job recently that's made it far more difficult for me to be able to do the show, and I have to leave as well. This has been a very difficult decision. I've been hemming and hawing about it for about a month, 2 months, 3 months now. Hopefully I can make appearances in the future, but for now it's goodbye for me as well. I just want to thank everyone at home listening and watching all these years for really supporting us and supporting the show. This has been a light in my life for 5 years that I've treasured with all my heart and soul. During some dark times, some struggling times, this was always the highlight of my week, being able to do this with 4 of my very dearest friends. And I'm really going to miss doing this every week. But my job that has me work irregular hours and had me work irregular hours for 4 years hasn't gotten any easier, and I've gotten more responsibility, and I just don't have the time to be able to do the show anymore like I'd want to. So this is going to be my last episode as a full-time pal as well.
Yeah, it's sad, but life does throw you curveballs, and people have to, rise to the occasion. Phil, we're gonna miss you, man. It's been a hell of a ride and a pleasure over these last 5 years. Hopefully this isn't goodbye forever, but we get it. And my hope is that we can make this last episode of the year, this last episode of us, the 5 of us as a unit, a special one. So
let's make it a real banger.
Yeah.
And then when I come on next time, you guys can ridicule me for not knowing what's going on, which, I know you guys bit your tongues for last year, because I already didn't know what was going on, but now you could make fun of me for it.
I mean, you've never really known what was going on.
What show is this? Video Game Pals? Can't wait to talk about that new Metroid. Is that a thing?
Is that a thing?
Well, that's actually more
is.
current. That's pretty good actually.
Oh, okay.
A month off, but
Okay.
You guys seen this new show Riverdale? Let's start a podcast about that.
The epic highs and lows of high school football. I'm ready.
Look at you knowing words from the show.
The listeners sounded off about Pete's announcement from last week, so I'm going to turn it over to Pete for those for our listener mail segment.
Frankly, I don't feel like we could have orchestrated this better, because I appreciate that all the kind words are about me and there's nothing for Phil. So that's a good feeling. Okay, so this first one comes from Kilgore Trout, who wrote in.
Substitute the words of Pete with Phil.
Kilgore wrote in and said, "I don't understand the interest in NFTs. It makes no sense to me." Thank you. So
nice
thoughtful.
words about Pete.
Yeah. No. Sorry to hear Pete won't be a part of the show anymore. I'll definitely miss hearing his viewpoints. Plus, where else will I get my dose of crazy Woody Woodpecker laughs? Joking aside, you will be missed on the show. Take care, Pete. Thank
Parker,
you so
you
much.
need to make
Kilgore.
a soundboard.
Oh, ooh, okay. Tyler has one. We can get some nice high quality cuts there.
Yeah, that transitions very well into our next comment from Harris, who wrote in and said, "Farewells to Pete. I'll still hear you on the other pods, or long friend, time friend." Well, thank you for that, Harris. And he said, maybe record the random question of the week shout as a soundbite so it will remain as a bit. Well, I'm happy to provide, and I'll let Marco and and Tyler's soundboard decide.
Here's the thing that most people don't know. The first one Pete did is actually so loud that we've never had to repeat it.
It's still echoing
It's the
through
same
time.
one.
It's It's in a special audio chamber. We just open it up.
Yeah, all we have to do is
Crazy.
hold the mic into the air and it just
The hyperbolic random question chamber. Oh my god. This next one comes from Link, who wrote in and said, was really sad to hear the announcement, but I completely understand the decision, of course. Pete, you will be missed. Wish you all the best. Thank you so much. And then this next one came from Kefis, who wrote in and said, man, just listening to the latest ep, really going to miss you, Pete. You're a great voice and almost relentlessly positive, and it's always been appreciated. On the other hand, Sean Soapbox's rant against Cassandra Nova is the highlight of my week thus far.
Bill, did you see that announcement about Cassandra Nova, man?
No, what happened?
Okay, because I needed you last week. You're the only person on this show who will really get this. So, Cassandra Nova, of course, you know, the opening salvo villain from Grant Morrison's new X-Men,
Yes.
is returning to the X-Men world, will be a member of Krakoa as a part of the Marauders.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
How's that fit?
Yeah.
great
Right,
question.
exactly.
They're gonna have to nerf. They're gonna have to what?
So in X-Men Red from years ago, she was made to feel the weight of everything she did on Genosha. And so now the idea is that because of that, she wants to do right by mutants.
Oh, don't get me wrong. Like I don't. Anything can have narrative purpose, you know.
Mhm.
But it feels, like I understand the temptation to want to dig into the well, but sometimes it's best to leave the well alone.
Anything could have narrative purpose. We don't need to do anything.
It's like when they brought Anti-Monitor back, and everyone's like, "Oh shit, what are you doing?" And then it was nothing.
Yeah. I shared my thoughts last week. I won't go into it again, except to say, fuck this idea.
Yeah.
Anyway.
All right, we're gonna miss you, Hickman.
Word.
Okay, sorry. Forgot I'm still on the job here. This next one comes from Matthew Murphy on our Spider-Man No Way Home review, who said, Sean, you think Electro and Venom are worse than the Lizard?
I don't remember if I said that. Actually, no, I probably did. Yes, in their respective movies, and we're talking Topher Grace, Venom, yeah, and Jamie Foxx from Amazing Spider-Man 2. Yes, I think they're really bad. I think that Lizard had redeeming qualities in the first one, being, you know, a person who was a friend of Peter's dad, and stuff like that. I got a little more out of that than Venom. Venom, I liked just the last fight scene, but his dialogue was god awful. The acting was bad. The CG was bad. There was just nothing good about it.
It didn't have that awesome theme song.
Didn't have a cool theme. And it was too much Topher Grace in my face. I didn't like it. I don't like his face. I didn't like it. And with Electro, he was just a weird, like, creep. That's all he was, a weird super fan creep. I don't like that. I think that was rough. So yes, I think I do feel that way.
Did Spider-Man 3 ruin Topher Grace's career?
Yes.
Damn.
Don't mean to laugh.
Absolutely.
Didn't mean to laugh. but
Why
damn.
not laugh? I mean, it's a funny fact. I do believe it to be true.
Did Topher Grace ruin Tobey Maguire's career?
No.
Okay.
He did that on his own.
Damn.
Well, he didn't, he didn't really want to continue to act as much. He wanted to do other things. So
Yeah. Seabiscuit.
Oh shit, that was the movie that came out.
you know that came out in between Spider-Man
Yeah.
1 and 2.
Yeah.
That was like Spider-Man 1.5. Peter Parker becomes a jockey.
Yo, it's so funny.
In
When I was a
1945.
When I was a kid, I had that movie on DVD, and I saw it because I was like, Spider-Man's in this movie. I gotta see it. I love Tobey
Oh
Maguire.
my god.
Winning a horse races takes a lot of responsibility and great power.
Didn't he actually hurt himself on that movie too?
What, Seabiscuit the horse?
I think he hurt his back. Yeah.
That's
Seabiscuit really had to carry that movie, you know?
That's why Tobey Maguire doesn't act much anymore.
Yeah.
Seabiscuit had to carry that movie. He had to carry his jockey and the race and the movie.
It's a lot. My God. It's a lot on his horsey shoulders. This one comes from Kilgore Trout, also on our Spider-Man review. And Kilgore wrote in and said, haven't seen it yet. I came here specifically to have you all spoil it. And I love that. That's hilarious to me.
That's a love language. That's a love language.
I appreciate that, dude, that you would choose us to spoil the movie for you.
The movie event of the year.
Yeah.
Kilgore wrote in again on our Radiant Black 11 review and said, I'll keep reading Radiant Black because I've gotten every issue thus far. I'll check out the one-shot Supermassive and issue number 1 of Rogue Sun, but I'm not interested in the 5-issue miniseries Radiant Red. I hope it stays focused on Radiant Black and doesn't turn into the Power Rangers. It feels like Kyle is throwing spaghetti at a wall, but I liked how it began and where it felt like it was going before it went all over the place.
Yeah, I think it needs to turn into the Power Rangers.
Same. Yeah, that's why I'm looking forward to Supermassives, because I want that experience before focusing on the individual characters.
Is it kind of hackneyed to like be a Power Ranger writer and then leave and do your own thing? It's kind of like Power Rangers, but it's my own thing. And then, all right, I'm doing Power Rangers again.
I don't know. He was pretty upfront about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, no, go ahead, Sean.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, frankly, I feel like that's the move. Like, you know, like I love when people do that when they're like, oh yeah, like I did this lauded run on this IP that I don't have access to anymore. Let me just make my own version of it and just do it better. Is like, that's often a recipe for either disaster or incredible success. And either way, it's usually a fun ride.
Can't wait to see Mattel pick it up.
That'd be wild.
That's a little bit Alan Moore-esque, right? He wanted to do Watchmen with certain characters, and they said, nah.
Yeah.
So he said, okay, I'll make my own characters and I'll make them bigger. And he succeeded at that.
Mm-hmm. Well, shit, Image Comics.
What are you talking about? Everyone knows Captain Atom.
Dr. Manhattan, never heard of him.
Yeah. We've got one more.
This one comes from Fernando R., who wrote it and said, great content, great channel. Happy holidays.
Fernando, do we make you horny?
Oof.
I think we just lost a listener.
Oh, no.
Did we?
Yeah.
Lost a listener or gained 2?
So how long until Tyler takes that soundbite and puts it on his board? Because do we make you horny? Feels like a thing that Tyler will get a lot of mileage out of. There you go.
That was really creepy.
Good call out, Pete. Good call out, because I like heard it but didn't take notice, and now I'm marking down the time.
There you go, Marco.
I know you all think that Pete's leaving the show on his own, but we're actually kicking him off for saying shit like that.
I'm fired, yeah.
You horny?
Wait, Kale said it first.
Yeah, I was gonna say, to be fair, Kale did open that can of worms.
If y'all thought you could fire me, you would have done it a long time ago.
Yeah, this is like a bus station terminal. He lives here.
Oh shit.
Y'all are the ones that come and go. I have to be here.
We're done recording. Kale sits in front of his computer with his mic on and his video cam on, and he's just like, 7 more days.
he just pulls out like a blanket, pulls it over himself, and just curls over. Anytime Jess comes to bother me, he's like, ah!
I'm waiting for the show.
My friends will be back in 6 days.
Do you even like doing the show? No, but it's my show, damn it.
If I stay here long enough, one of them will die. And then it'll be mine.
Still not hosting, though.
Wait, you want me to watch Spider-Man? You know what? I got COVID. Sorry.
How can I not move and get hit by a bus?
There's no video projector at this bus station.
Wait, you want me to host? Shit. I got bit by my dog.
That doesn't do it for me, brother.
Wait, you want me to post the show? Oh man, I can't. I feel like a fat pig.
I ate too much sashimi, brother.
Social media. Wait, I can't. Twitter. I don't even have that on my phone. Oh my god.
Too busy looking up pictures of Bubba the Love Sponge, brother.
Get that reference.
We're still talking about the Hulk Hogan sex tape. Don't worry.
Oh my
5
god.
years later.
2021.
I think that was like 10 years ago.
Yeah, that's old as shit. All right.
Oh,
Wow. Let's do the pals pulls. Phil chose Book of Evil #1.
oh man, you caught me mid-sip. Yeah, that's the new comicsology book by Scott Snyder and Jock, who are a famous duo before Greg Capullo was ever involved. My understanding, based on premise alone, is that it is a dystopian future where 90% of the population are born as psychopaths.
Whoa.
And it sounds so over the top and zany that I gotta check it out.
I don't know why I find that so funny.
Oh, I was thinking of Night of the Ghoul. I was the one Snyder's doing with Francavilla.
Yeah.
That's what I
Sounds
thought.
like Jock, baby. Comes out Christmas Eve, or stupid, New Year's Eve, which is on Friday.
Stupid.
Yeah, we had to edit ourselves on the show. Stupid.
Oh, that's me. Clap.
I didn't
Sounds
address
good.
you. I'm using stupid the adjective, not the noun.
Shit.
My listener mail next week is all gonna be like, God, I can't believe I'm so happy he's leaving. Marco.
Marco chose The Human Target #3.
This book's been a lot of fun. Tom King, Greg Smallwood. I was not on the review, and I just caught up. I just read it yesterday, and it's good shit. It's good energy, really good vibe from Smallwood, and Tom King's writing is like on point. So I've been having a lot of fun with it. Looking forward.
Yeah, it's the good shit.
Yep.
Pete and I chose Devil's Reign #2.
Yeah, so we did the review of this one, I don't know, like last month, whenever it happened last. And I had fun with it. You know, like the Chip Zdarsky Daredevil stuff is something that like I've been meaning to get around to. Sean and Phil have both sung its praises often and loudly. And I just have never gotten around to taking the plunge, so this is kind of like my first taste of it. Obviously with a lot of other characters sprinkled in, and I was interested in what was going on. It's like dealing with a lot of characters that I have a ton of affection for. You know, I really love like the street level heroes, and it's like all of that crew coming together to deal with this, you know, thing that's going on with Kingpin, who's another character that I'm really fond of. So I don't want to spoil exactly what's happening because the end of the first issue is like a bit of a reveal. But it seems like it's going to be a fun ride, and it's the kind of like this is the kind of event that I vibe with more so than like the really, really big high stakes stuff, you know. An excuse to like pull these characters together and to like see characters that we don't really see that often too. Like I don't remember the last time I saw Jessica Jones pop up in anything, you know, is cool. So yeah, I'm looking forward to #2.
Ditto. And then myself, Marco, and Kale all chose Swamp Thing Green Hell #1.
Let's fucking go, boys.
Yes, please.
Shout out to this one for me too.
This one is cool. Jeff Lemire, Doug Mankey, and it's going to deal with parliaments. So Parliament of the Red, the Green, the Rot, and I've been hungry for that for a while. We haven't touched on it, and so definitely excited to come back to that kind of to those concepts. Real cool shit.
I recently read the beginning of the New 52 Animal Man and learned about the Parliament of the Red.
Real good.
Yeah, very into that.
Very Christmas. You think
Yeah.
about it. Perlman of the green.
The red and
Perlman of
green.
the
Yeah,
red.
I love it.
And the rot.
Is this a Christmas book, guys?
Might as well
Yes.
Doug Monk on art is an interesting choice. I'm very I go back and forth with him. I think
Just
mostly I don't like his stuff.
be. Really?
But he does
Wow.
have a horror sensibility that I think would do really, really well for
A what sensibility?
horror
Oh,
sensibility.
well, okay. A soundbite there.
Doug Mankey, I've been following him on Instagram, and he's also recently got into like weightlifting, but like super weightlifting. My dude can like, he could probably crush me like with his bicep.
So-
He's scary.
Was his creation of Bane like a male wish fulfillment for him?
The vein?
Bane.
Bane.
Oh,
Jesus Christ, this guy doesn't know shit about Batman.
Like the bat light, famous villain, the Bane. Bane does have Bane.
Quick, policeman Gordo, get the Batlight. Vane is here. It's like it's like when you would go to like the flea market and they'd have those like the Chinese Justice League like knockoff toys,
Yeah,
and it's like
yeah.
Batman and Shrek.
Oh God.
in the same packaging.
Sean felt that viscerally.
Sean just had a war flashback.
I just took mental damage. I hate those so much.
Yeah.
That shit freaks me out.
Sure thing, Police Chief Gordo. Cardinal, go get the Batman. We gotta get Bane.
Cardinal. We gotta stop the Vane and Dog Woman.
Oh my God.
Is that Shrek?
Quick.
It'll be like a green Spider-Man toy called like Tarantula.
The tarantula.
Spider-Man.
And a bunch of like repainted Mattel Power Rangers from the 90s that just
I
Dino
love
Force.
I love the narrative that Batman needs help, so he's like, I gotta call my strongest ally, Shrek.
Gotta get him out of the swamp.
You weren't joking, Commissioner Gordon. This is overwhelming.
Oh no!
I can't do this anymore.
Somebody once.
I, Commissioner Gordon. I'm sorry, policeman Gordo.
Police Chief
The legally
Gordo.
distinct policeman Gordo.
Oh my God. Wow. Well, it wouldn't be a send-off if we didn't do this one last time. So, in the spirit of the Comics Pals, I have a question for you guys.
I'm sure it's a normal one. Probably has to do with Gothic City.
Hot Topic City. Oh my gosh. So I guess what you're saying is it's time for the random question of the week.
Damn.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
I was hoping Zoom was gonna do that thing like lobby chat.
Where auto clip.
It shuts down.
Yeah. No. You can't stop me.
Oh,
So-
damn. I just got a news notification that said that there was a tornado reported in Philadelphia. Sorry, go on.
My question is, what is everyone's favorite Pete moment or memory on the show?
Aww.
Please.
It's Pete, not Phil. Just want to remind everyone.
He's the one that likes Goku, right?
Yeah, that's true.
I'll jump out the gate while you guys think. And I don't know if it's my definite favorite, but I know that it's just been a running gag on the show for almost all of 5 years, and you guys know how I love my narratives. The Eastmaster.
Yes.
Dude,
shit.
it's been so long since that one's come up too. Like there was a reason for it somewhat recently.
I'm picturing the Obi-Wan Kenobi thing where it's like Obi-Wan Kenobi, the Eastmaster. That's a name I haven't heard.
Of course I know him. He's me.
Pete just has this like intimate knowledge of everything happening
In the East.
in the East, whether it be China, Japan, the Koreas, wherever. He actually just displayed it right now, having a keen knowledge that Shrek and Batman in the East are, close personal friends.
They're allies.
This is the kind of knowledge that Pete possesses, and it is because he is the Eastmaster.
The Shrek of China. Who could forget?
I've been listening to the Made in Korea reviews, and he just is like, actually, that's not correct.
That was his favorite book of the year.
It was my favorite book of the year. It makes sense. Oh my god.
There was this one interview, and I'm struggling to remember, but you had taken the conversation narrative in a really interesting way that engaged them. Fuck, was it Brian Hill? No.
This is so vague.
I'm trying to remember the creator, but like
It's been 700 episodes. Like,
I remember one time you said something so loud. My doctor still says I have hearing loss because of it.
but I remember because when we used to work at another place, like a lot of the interview questions and stuff had come from, or like the learning had come from you, and it was one of those moments where I was like, okay, yes, like these are the things that for any future time I need to remember and like figure out, how do I the thing that always sticks out is like not asking leading questions, because it doesn't get you to like the core of the concept that you really want to pull from somebody, and that's something that I continue to think about anytime we have a guest on. I don't usually talk, but even for stuff when we do like near Comic-Con interviews, when we used to do them a bit more frequently, and I used to do interviews, was trying to ensure that was something I'd always make sure to do. So I appreciate the conversations that you've helped to develop and build here.
Thanks, buddy.
That's nice. I have several things I can think of off the top of my head. I remember the Newlywed Game Show we did a year and a half ago.
Yes.
And Pete and Sarah were on, and they had more synergy than Marco and Mari did, or Kale and Jess did. Of course, not Sean and Rebecca, but second best is
Second place,
good.
no disgrace. I'll take that.
A far more new relationship than Sean and Rebecca, so like pretty good, all things considered. One thing I always appreciate is during any news segment, Pete will go first and talk for 5 straight minutes and give the rest of us time to think about what we need to say. much needed stalling.
yeah, we're gonna have to learn how to edit again to cut around.
Of course, several cons in a row of doing Fill Me In with Pete. Pete was always the producer. He took a lot of pride in being the producer. A lot of dumb material that got left on the cutting room floor, and worse yet, was left in the video. It was, always just a romp, to team up with Pete. Who knows? I don't know. Pete's the best.
Thanks, buddy. Fill Me In is I think that's my magnum opus. I think that's the best thing I'll ever create.
I think the worst thing he's ever brought to the show was making us read shit like Invincible.
All right. Okay. There it is.
Well, listen, I had to do a callback to the early episodes where I was your Bugs Bunny and to your Daffy Duck.
Yeah, now we just have that dynamic in real life. It's good.
Not even true.
Now I want to offer Pete the space to say if he has a favorite moment or wants to shout out any moment from the show that stands out.
Yeah, I mean, I think when I think back on like specific episodes, there are like ones from different eras of the show that stick out to me. Like one that I always think about is I think it's like this. It's in the first 10. I don't remember which one it is, but the one where we just talked about supervillains that we would have rather been president than Donald Trump is, I think, remains one of the dumbest fucking topics we've ever had, and it was so fucking funny to me.
I forgot about that.
And I think back on that from time to time, and especially with, what's been going on with Kingpin as a character as he enters the political sphere and everything.
Him and Trump are both wearing like Hawaiian shirts these days.
Similar fashion sense, those two. But I think about like, I don't know if he was the first guest that we had on the show, but I remember the first time we had Chris Sabella on the show. Remains one of my favorite memories on the show because it was like a great conversation, and I remember he stuck around for like the entire episode and talked about all the news with us and everything. And we had never had whether or not he was the first creator guest. I don't believe he was, but that was the first time we ever had somebody for like a really long time like that. And the fact that like we had just met and we kind of like clicked and we're having fun and everything, like that's something that I always think about, when we do have guests on the show. Is I think the reason we get such good interviews is that the show is a fun environment, and it's often easy for creators to pick up on that and feel comfortable and just screw around with us and have fun. And I think like that's the thing that stands out to me the most is just how many times we find ourselves in situations where we're just trying to like one up each other and then think of what's the most next ridiculous thing that we can say. Those are always like, I think, the most fun episodes. And obviously it's always fun when we get to dig in and talk about, really serious stuff as well. Like, like major developments in the industry or really uncomfortable topics. And, I'm glad that we've always been able to have those conversations here and like walk away feeling like, like I learned something from those conversations. But yeah, I think like my favorite memories are all the ones of just us fucking around and, like being as wild and wacky as we can get.
Pete, that was episode 4.
Episode 4.
Yep.
Wow. That's
back in the day.
Pete's favorite episode was 5 years ago.
One of.
It's been all downhill from there.
From episode 4,
While we're at it, why don't we do the same for Phil?
Might as well, right? That.
I'm gonna start again because nobody makes me laugh on this show more than Phil. And I could cite a million examples. But again, I love my narratives. And my favorite thing that happens on this show is when Phil fucks with Pete and Pete gets really mad.
Yep.
One of my favorite memories of this podcast is when we did, for whatever reason. Huh?
Is it the Spider-Man?
Not the Spider-Man. No. It's when we did.
I can't even get through it.
We did the Star Wars review, The Last Jedi. For whatever reason, we chose to do that. And Phil and Pete just got into it really bad, and it was so funny. Just amazing. During the Venom movie release. When Pete kept saying it was gonna suck, and that was the origin, I believe, of Could Be Good.
I think so.
I think it is.
And I think Pete didn't you have to make a recording for Phil's brother?
Yeah, I don't even know if I like lost a bet or if I just agreed to do it afterwards or what the deal was, but I
think it was a bet.
And I stood in front of the cardboard cutout they had at the AMC and was like, it was good. I liked it.
That's one of the funniest things I've ever seen happen. And then at Comic-Con, just for whatever reason, we never even talked about this. For whatever reason, any environment we've ever been in, girls love Phil.
They really do.
And one year we were at, I think it was PhillyCon, and there were, I don't know, there was just this girl. Remember, she was dressed like a cat or something.
Yeah.
And then she was Venom another time, yeah.
Yes.
And she was very into Phil.
She was just into Phil, and it's I don't get it. He's got some magic.
Well, if we're talking about that, my favorite example of that is when he was flirting with Jerry Conway's daughter. That was crazy. Like,
yes, that's right. That was
that's
so
out
funny.
there now.
Yeah, it's out there now.
Get it, baby.
So yeah, I mean, too many moments. Listen to any episode that Phil's on, and you'll understand what I'm talking about. You're just a true gem, one of the funniest people I've ever known, and I'm gonna miss that presence a lot. Even just in this episode, times where you would say things specifically to make me laugh. I appreciate it all. So that will be missed.
Yeah, a lot of material squarely for Sean and no one else, not even a listener.
Yeah, I think I think similarly to what you said, I some of the most fun that I've had working with Phil has definitely been on Fill Me In. That was like an idea that was extremely half baked when we first started working on it. It was like very much like, oh, like let's try this weird idea and see if anything comes of it. And I remember even when we were recording it the first time being like, I don't know if this is funny. I don't know if this is going to come together. I don't know how this is going to be like make a narrative, but
I was very sleep deprived for the first one. On the topic of my job, I had worked, I think an 11 to 7 or 2 to 10 shift that day and went to PhillyCon afterwards. And I was exhausted. I was up for 30 straight hours or something. And I go in there and I'm just like, all right, let's go. Let's do it.
That weekend is like overall one of my favorite experiences that we had. Like we rented an Airbnb and we get there and there was not that many creators. So we were like, all right, like let's use the time and like do weird things and like experiment and fuck around. And like we did the vlog and we went to Bobby's Burger Palace and all kinds of weird bullshit. But yeah, getting to collaborate with Phil on that was something that I always really looked forward to because Phil's extremely funny and good on his feet, and he made it really easy to produce because I would just kind of point him in a direction and he would give me gold, and we got a lot of really good funny cosplayers who were able to work with us on the bits, and give us stuff that was fun. And getting to edit those was like, literally I would just pull the background track and then just like be laughing to myself for like 6 hours while I put the fucking thing together,
The jokester bit must have been good too. I remember that being the jokester, and the guy like turns over and it's a hard cut.
Oh my god,
crime is funny.
One of my favorite shots of that too is I remember we got a thing of B-roll of Phil just like running back and forth between aisles and Marco was just chasing him with the camera. Oh my god, yeah. That was so much fun.
Phil, to this date, we call Spencer the Goblin Prince.
That's what he is. Marco's cat, his first cat he got, he's a little goblin. He sneezes all the time. He gets into mischief. He's Goblin Prince.
Yep. Exactly.
Photo of me on Instagram with that cat sitting on my lap with a pillow on it, and he's regal.
That's it. My favorite memory is cat related.
That tracks.
Mine isn't related to this show, but we worked at the other place, and this is something I'll truly never forget. I didn't like Phil when I first met him.
Thanks.
Because I don't know if the rest of you will remember, he was introduced to us at the same time as another guy who was like
also
a hardcore stoner, and it was like his personality.
Yes, I do remember this.
You don't have to subtweet me like that, Kale.
I don't actually know the guy's name either. I think he was only there for a hot minute, and I think that was the only time he was there. It was also my first day at that other place.
Yeah. and I remember looking at his Superman shoes, and then Phil actually said out loud, "Yeah, my Facebook, I
Oh boy.
changed the first letter of my first name and the last letter of the first letter of my last name. So my Facebook name is Sil Facey. So my boss doesn't see." He said that out loud, and I went, "I don't like this guy." But this was our very very first Philadelphia convention, and I mean, this was where we were born. I had a terrible time, and one of the things that we were doing at this place was I think we were raffling off art.
Mm-hmm.
And
stupid shit.
Yeah. And none of it went anywhere. So they were, I guess people were just taking this art, and I wasn't there. But we had gotten like an original drawn Raphael from like the guy who did the TMNT comics.
Yeah, I didn't take this at all.
And Phil took it for me, and he was like, "No, Kale he's gonna be crazy for that." And I mean, I have it to this day. I put it up everywhere I go, and I look at it very fondly, and I remember that. And I know when we were leaving that place, Philadelphia specifically, Phil had to go to work, and he thought he was going to have to make a 4-hour round trip.
Oh yeah. Yep.
And I was like, "No, absolutely not, dude. Like, we're going to pack this shit in this van that I got. We're going to sit on boxes if we have to, but you're going home. You're going to go to bed." And I don't know. Yeah, that is the moment for me with Phil, was that whole thing.
If that's not a summary of my adult life, being like, "Oh, I have to drive to New York, then back to Philadelphia to go to work." Oh, okay. All right.
And then, Phil, do you want to share your, if you have any memories you want to share from the show or whatever?
It was just, I mean, it's always been an outlet for me to be creative and fun. I've worked my ass off the last 5 years, and I feel like I have to be serious all the time outside of the show. Not all the time, but a lot of the time, especially with this new promotion I have. Like it requires a lot more seriousness. And coming here, could let loose, just be silly, goof around with my friends, talk about comic books, which is, believe it or not, that's why we're all here. And it not only kept me in the loop of something that was a passion of mine, but it made me more involved in something I was passionate in. It gave me a personal opportunity to like talk to people I really admire, like Declan Shalvey, for instance, who we've had on the show, and then just meet new creators too. Pete mentioned Sabella. That's a good example. Brian Edward Hill was another good example. Just like a lot of really interesting and talented people that came on the show, or we talked to outside of the show. Because of this podcast, Sean and I had the opportunity to meet Grant Morrison. That was a huge high. I think if Grant had hair on their head, Sean would have plucked it for the altar in his room.
Yes.
Dude, I remember when we had that moment. We were at New York Comic Con, and Grant was at the heavy metal booth, and I was like, "Oh, you guys should go talk to Grant." And
no,
they were both nervous, and I was like, "All right, I'll do it." And I've never felt more like a dad, like at a kid, where I'm like, "Oh, can you take a picture with my boys here?" And Grant was, of course, extremely accommodating and very, very kind.
Yeah, it's always been more than that, though. This is a family, like Sean and I have hung out outside of this podcast. I've come up and hung out with him, before Kale left the United States, I've hung out with Kale. I've hung out with Marco. I've hung out with Pete. Like, this is not just a show to me. This I hate saying was. This is more than that. Like this is the appeal of our show, is that we are 5 close friends, and that's the thing I've always treasured most. Even with dumb bits like Canadian Wolverine or New Jersey Batman or any of the other stupid bits that we'd come up with, like when we played the last quiz game we played, and I forgot the rules of it for the Christmas episode last year, even though it was in front of me and I wrote them down. No, this has always been, this is like a sanctuary. And I hope everyone listening to the show feels the same way too, because it really is. You know, there's that famous meme from a few years ago of like a kid eating ice cream in front of like a billboard of a bunch of other kids, and like the label says podcasts. Like the idea of hanging out with friends that you don't actually hang out with. That's kind of what I hope we offer everyone at home. This is, you know, we're just 5 friends talking comics, and this is a welcoming environment. This has been one of the greatest pleasures of my life, and you know, for me, it's not goodbye. I will be back. Hopefully, when all this COVID stuff slows down again, I can be on a little more regularly again. Because right now it's fucking terrible, COVID. I mean,
yeah. There's so much that you guys that listen don't know about, like how we got to be and why we're together and stuff like that. And those are like formative experiences that we all went through as a group. And so for that reason, this is like a brotherhood. And you know, you don't just forget that. You don't just sweep that under the rug. So I think I speak for all of us when I say that we'll definitely always cherish the years that we had as a collective. And this show's not going away. It's going to obviously have to change. But one thing that I can always say is that the DNA of this podcast begins from a genuine friendship and a camaraderie and a bond that, you know, this is what it is. And I'm grateful for each and every one of you. So,
yeah, I love you guys.
Love you guys. Absolutely.
Yeah. You guys are all right.
So this is not going to be an episode full of sap, because now we're going to get into our predictions from 2020 and see if we were right or wrong about how 2021 went. I have in my hand right now.
It's an episode of Sap, and it's about to be an episode of Crow.
What do you mean? Are you not prepared for Sean's victory speech, or that's how I'm assuming this went? That's.
He's gonna boot us off the fucking show after we're so wrong.
Well, let's see. Let's see, because 2021 was a weird year, as we all know, and certain things did not go the way we thought. So how wrong were you about our predictions for 2021?
Nostradamus strikes again, I bet.
We shall see.
Let's see.
Now,
let's see.
Here we go. So we're going to start with what superhero movie would each of us enjoy the most? I gave us 2 picks because we weren't sure what would release and what wouldn't. As it turns out, all of our picks actually came out.
Okay, that's good. We got that much right.
So I'm not even going to bother reading the secondary picks. Or maybe I will. We'll see. Marco went with Venom 2.
Damn.
So, funny enough, I haven't seen it.
Wait.
That's the only one I have not seen.
So let's go to number 2.
Okay, no. It was your responsibility to see your first pick because it came out, you scrub. Although I will say,
not at home.
Who cares? You could have gone to the theater. You chose not to.
There's pretty much no way that would have been the answer, though. I don't think that movie was.
That's very.
Wait,
funny.
don't spoil it for me. I haven't seen it.
His second pick. God, his second pick was actually Eternals.
Oh, that was bad.
You know what? It's a good thing you did read the second pick.
Yeah.
There you go.
We're 0 for 2 here. Okay.
Now, Pete went with, this is a big surprise, guys.
What did I say?
Pete went with Shang-Chi.
Oh,
Cool. That's
interesting.
the only movie I didn't see. So we're batting 1,000 here.
Scrubs.
His second pick, also Eternals.
Really? Over
Wow.
Spider-Man? What was I
No
thinking?
Spider-Man.
Okay, sure.
We were sure that wasn't coming out this year, though.
I bet you that's what my mindset was I was afraid
Yeah.
that if I picked Spider-Man, it would get delayed.
But that was why there was 2.
I'm
Fair
not
enough.
I'm not defending my choice. I'm trying to figure it out in my own mind of why the fuck
Yeah.
I would do that. But okay. All right.
Because we didn't know that was going to come out until like July, August.
We didn't know it was going to come out until Venom 2 did well. Let's
Yeah.
keep it real.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true.
Kale
Okay.
went with Shang-Chi.
Did you see it?
Yeah. Yeah, well, I saw it. Yeah.
You didn't like it. I remember now.
No.
Kill doesn't like any of them though, so
Yeah.
most is the thing, right? Not
Yes.
liked.
Okay.
So
Yep.
So, Kale, is that
Most.
true? Would it be your favorite superhero
Oh,
movie? of
great
the year?
question.
I don't think you
Yeah.
liked it more than your second pick. I think you saw your second pick for sure.
What was my second pick?
Suicide Squad.
Oh, you're right.
that was
I
your
forgot
favorite.
about Suicide Squad.
That was
Yep.
your favorite.
Yeah, it was definitely Suicide Squad.
Damn. Does that count? Does that count as like half a point? Do we?
No, it counts as nothing.
All right.
In fact, last year, one of the bits that we did was Pete, well, certain people on the podcast felt that Pete was trying to get sympathy points,
That's right. That's right.
sounds right.
and we're just not giving those away this year. It's
Nope.
all or nothing. Phil chose for his number one pick, Suicide Squad.
I don't know.
That's the only movie Phil saw this year, so
That's not true. I don't think it's my favorite of the year. Damn.
Yep.
I think it's Shang-Chi.
And your
What?
backup was Venom 2.
oh
Which
no.
is not a great movie.
Wait, you saw
It did
Venom
not live
too?
up.
Yeah, we talked about it at New York Comic Con.
Shows how much I remember about.
I, if you can believe this, chose Spider-Man 3.
No.
Yes, I
Fuck
did.
you.
Listen back.
Nuh-uh.
Listen back.
Everyone's like, I didn't think it was coming out this year. And Sean's like, I knew it was coming out this year.
That whole episode is probably about him going, yeah, Spider-Man's definitely coming out next year.
It was actually. So
That's
I'll
a shame.
take that point.
Nah, you liked Black Widow more. We know.
Now, the next category was which superhero show would we enjoy the most?
Oh.
This first one, this is an auto elimination. I'm pretty confident.
Okay.
Marco chose Sandman.
Yeah, that's it.
Oh yeah, it didn't come out.
Exactly. So sorry. We had no secondary picks, so you get nothing.
Shucks.
Pete chose WandaVision.
He
Oh,
probably stands by that.
sweet. Yeah, no, I definitely stand by that. Hell yeah. I was afraid I would have said what if.
Nope, you were smart.
All right, I got
for
one.
yourself. Kale chose WandaVision.
Do you stand by that, Cal?
I mean,
I feel like
guess
yes, right?
more than anything else. Yeah.
Yeah. You came on all of those reviews and were generally positive, which for you is like a glowing review.
I guess. Yeah.
I chose WandaVision. That is not my
Nah.
favorite.
Oh.
Definitely not.
What would you say was?
I'm torn right now between Falcon, Winter Soldier, and Hawkeye.
Okay.
Falcon, Winter Soldier was incredible, but so is Hawkeye.
Have you been enjoying it?
Yeah, it's over.
Oh, that's right. Duh.
I enjoyed it.
That last
finished it.
episode had a special reveal.
I didn't love the last episode, so probably Falcon, Winter Soldier is my favorite, but Hawkeye was up there until the last one. And then Phil chose Falcon, Winter Soldier.
Yup. Yup.
Yeah.
I know myself, typically.
Are we sure that I didn't mean the audiobook to Sandman?
Yeah, well, you
The
didn't-
audio,
you didn't
the
listen
audio
to that
show.
either.
I did. I have it.
Shh, everyone, quiet for a sec. Mark, are you looking for sympathy points?
Huh?
Aww.
This next one is Will
This sounds like a sad one.
Miles Morales
Oh.
appear in Spider-Man 3 No Way Home?
Everyone said no, right?
We all
Of
said
course
no
we-
except Sean, right?
That is absolutely incorrect. Only
Nope.
one of us is getting points for this. It's Marco.
I probably said yes.
Oh
I probably
my
said yes.
Damn.
I probably said
Everyone
yes.
else said yes.
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
On the board.
Sean
the board
convinced
indeed.
us.
I
If
did.
if I had to guess on it, that was in my head for months.
Yeah, I was absolutely sure for that. Yeah.
Kale convinced Pete is the funny part.
Damn.
Within the
Oh.
audio.
Really?
Fuck.
Yeah.
That's so good.
I remember being gung ho about that.
Man, that's the
Yeah.
second time he convinced him about something. Because last time he convinced him about something, he convinced him to leave the show. Can I make jokes about that?
Well, that one, I
Sure.
mean, took 5 years. You know, it's,
Just
He
subtly
put the-
chipping away at my self-esteem.
he put the
Better
squad
housewife.
together, but I knew I could kick him off.
Will Batman shoot a man in Zack Snyder's Justice League?
Did we all say yes?
No. And I'm pretty sure these are the only two people getting points because he did not shoot a human male in that movie. Phil and I said no.
It wasn't going to happen.
So boom.
I forgot that happened this year.
Oh my God. It
Sure
does feel
did.
like a lifetime ago.
Will there be a Moira Mctaggart solo series in 2021?
Oh, I probably said yes.
You probably said
Probably
yes.
This is unfortunate because obviously we don't know how things would have played out if it weren't for the major reshufflings. But of course, we know the answer was no, and two of us said no.
Oh.
Those two being Kale and me.
Wow.
Mhm. I thought I was going to say yes. So thanks, Pass Sean. Appreciate that. Will there be a New York Comic Con in a physical space in 2021?
I said
We
no.
all said yes.
Y'all
What?
said
I
yes.
said
Wow.
yes?
Oh.
Yep.
All
Yeah, I
said
remember
yes.
Wow. What was I thinking? Even though I was right.
that.
It's funny because
Remember-
I said no, and then I said yes because you all said yes.
Remember when we thought this pandemic would end?
Yeah, I think
I'm
that's
sure we
that must
said
have been
that
it.
out of pure optimism.
Because I was like, well, vaccines.
But Pete's logic was there's vaccine. It's a year from now. It'll probably be okay to have the event at the time, whether or not people individually feel comfortable with going. And I think that was pretty spot on.
Yeah. Well done.
And to be fair, I think he was right because
Yeah.
the new variant didn't come from
Until
New York
like right
Comic-Con.
after that.
Yeah.
Pretty
Yep.
much. Delta was happening, but didn't stop the con.
That's right. Will there be a DC reboot of any kind in 2021?
That's a great question. We should do this every year. It'd be a question every single year.
Phil had a very similar reaction to this question when it was initially asked. And he actually broke the mold and said yes. His initial answer was LMAO.
Write that
he-
down for this one.
And then he changed that to yes, which unfortunately makes him wrong because there was no reboot. But that is really funny.
Oh shit. That's so funny.
And then the last one, which this is pretty interesting, and there might be some controversy here. The Breakout Creator. Who will be the Breakout Creator of 2020?
I always get this one wrong.
Okay. Now, Marco chose
Oh boy. What bullshit did he give us?
Yeah.
he chose Chip Zdarsky.
No fucking way.
Whoa.
Nuh-uh.
I think that's spot on.
Yeah, I
And,
mean,
Hold on.
Okay.
Now, we all said, are you crazy? Chip Zdarsky breakout. He's already broken out.
Yeah.
And the caveat was the only way that Chip Zdarsky's an acceptable answer is if he puts out an event
Yep.
from Marvel
Yep.
that is not a Daredevil event.
Oh no! Oh shit! Okay.
No. Oh,
Fuck.
that's so specific. God damn it.
That's your fault
Yep.
for tying yourself to that.
Oh,
Shit! You should have
Yep.
stopped an event, dude.
Damn, dude.
You were right
That's
there.
Funny as hell.
right at the end.
That's
Damn.
so fucking funny.
So this close, Marco.
Dang, dude.
Because
Come
when
on,
you
I
said
I would've
Chip
given that.
Zdarsky,
I want to give him the pity points, but
nope.
no, we don't do that
This year,
here.
Sorry.
When
Yeah.
you introduced that it was Chip Zdarsky, I was like, how did we allow that? How did we allow that? I like
That's
I like that
extremely
past us.
specific
Because
caveat.
it was so ridiculous that there had to be a caveat.
Okay.
Damn.
That's great.
Sorry, Marco.
The one fucking year.
It was a decent shot, but he compared to everybody else on this list, he's already the most broken out if this year never happened.
Sure.
So it would have had to been extreme.
Marco, I fucking dare you to do it for next year too. Same caveats.
It's Substack, man.
Pete chose Gene Luen Yang. No.
I mean,
Do a
he
ton this year.
had a good year, but it's fine.
You know, Shang-Chi this year?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yep.
he did do that.
Shang-Chi versus the Marvel
And
Universe.
he had another Marvel ongoing, I think. I forget. But yeah, he did a few things, but nothing like,
He had a fine year.
yeah, nothing that was like crazy.
Phil and I chose the same creator.
I wonder if I chose Philip Kennedy Johnson.
You sure did. And
That was a good
so did
choice.
I.
Wow.
That was a good choice.
That was a good
That
choice.
was
He
a
had
great
he had a great
choice.
year.
I would absolutely, I feel like that makes sense.
Now here's the argument. Because Kale chose Rom V.
Oh,
Wait, are you
sorry.
fucking kidding me?
Kale
Sorry,
wins.
guys.
Kale wins.
Kale absolutely
Holy
wins.
shit! I
Like-
can't believe that.
I
What am I, psychic? Holy shit!
I could not mean less
Oh my
disrespect.
god!
You know, like I like absolutely no disrespect to Philip Kennedy Johnson, but like fucking come on, dude. Like, yeah, Rob V is the talk of the fucking town this year.
What book did he even put out that you would have said that?
He was talking
Boy.
about the fact that he was gonna get Swamp Thing. It seemed like things were kind of going his way. Kale was more. It was more like on a hunch than
Wow.
solid evidence.
What
I
a
wonder
gut.
if maybe like Layla Starr had just started.
No,
had it?
Layla Starr
No.
started like
like in the
this year.
late spring.
yeah, like
Yeah.
I think when we interviewed Rom, it was like the first issue had just come out.
Yeah, that's
Literally,
right.
Yeah,
Had
Sean, do we-
literally just come out.
Sean, do
What
we
did you-
bother defending ourselves or?
What did I read?
You know what, man? When I heard that prediction, I was like, "Oh, he got it." I
Yeah.
don't
Yeah.
think I can. I don't
That's
think I can generate. an
incredible.
argument.
No, I feel like that's the answer.
Yeah.
Damn.
Wow.
So I'm gonna go ahead and give Kale the point on that one. So that's it.
Kale's
Now,
floored.
all that's left
Look
is
at
for
Kale's
me.
face.
I genuinely, I knew this would happen this episode because it always happens this episode. So I was trying to remember, and I went, Rom V probably took it, but I probably said some shit like Leia Williams or something.
This is just like when Kale won at Tyler's game over Sean.
Just the utter surprise.
Yeah,
Well-
the other surprise.
Well, no, that was
That
utter
was-
confidence is what that was.
That was utter cheating, is what that was. But we'll let that rest.
Journey
Utter
into Twister.
collusion. So let's go ahead and figure out who actually won. So
I did really good this year. Shit.
I don't think I've ever won
Damn.
our end of the year recap.
I don't think you have either. I
Just the
think
way you said it.
Pete and I actually won last year,
Nice.
Oh yeah, it was
but
a
I don't
tie.
think I've ever lost. Maybe
That's
this
hilarious. You've never lost, but I tied you once. That's good.
year. Yep. Well, maybe you usurped me.
This is my year.
All right, so I got the point. The only one with a point in the movie, which movie will we enjoy category. In the TV show category, Kale, Phil, and Pete all got points. So Marco's the only one not on the board.
Natural. That's the way it usually goes.
Yep.
In the Miles Morales category, Marco got a point. Now we're all on board. Well, Batman shoot someone. Phil and I got a point, so we're up 2-1 on everybody. Moira, Mctaggart, myself, and Kale got a point, so I'm up 3-2.
Kale's now got 2, I believe.
Kale has 2.
Me and
I have
Marco
3.
have 1.
Everyone keep track of your own points at this point.
I can't.
In the New York Comic-Con category, everybody got a point. In the DC Reboot category, everybody but Phil got a point. And in the Breakout Creator category, Kale got a point.
It's 5-5.
So it's 5-5.
Wow.
Look at
Good
you,
stuff.
Kale, tying the champ.
I still listen. I can't believe that. What a fucking Babe Ruth ballpark home
Seriously?
run! Like, wow.
Now, what I wish I had done, we're not doing it, but what I wish I had done is said that category, the Breakout Creator one, is worth 2 points.
Man, yeah, I fucking wish you did that too.
I'm sure you do.
How poetic is it that not only does the DC universe constantly fuck itself, but it fucks me too.
Oh, man.
So much fun. I love doing this every year. I have given now 4 speeches. This would be my 5th victory speech. But I will be a gracious winner and allow my co-winner to give a speech first if you would like to shit on these kids.
Yes.
Except me. I was almost right.
Genuinely,
You have like 2 points.
I think the only reason I'm here today is COVID. So I'd like to thank the pandemic for another great year, I guess. Shang-Chi sucked, but Suicide Squad ruled. Man, Rom V, fucking keep burning it up. I don't know. It's a great year for Rom V.
This is Kale's Oscar acceptance speech. He's just thanking all the people who made this victory possible.
Where in the bus terminal are you going to put your trophy, your palsy?
I was thinking on my throne in the ladies'
toilet?
bathroom, and in the ladies, in the far corner of the ladies' bathroom. Nobody goes in there.
I love that comic you wrote, The Far Corner of the Ladies' Bathroom.
Yeah.
Billboard original.
Man. Wow. I can't believe it.
He's speechless.
Well, I can believe it. I am used to victory. It hardly feels like anything anymore. It's good that you guys are leaving Pete and Phil because I need new competition. It's just getting stale here. I'm happy to win. It's cool. Thanks to New York Comic-Con for risking all of our lives. Thanks to Kevin Feige for making No Way Home happen. And really, thanks to the true MVP of 2021, Venom 2, for doing so well that it allowed No Way Home to release, which made my gutsy choice to say that it would come out, get me a victory point. So, thanks.
For doing so much carnage at the box office.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Nice.
And he wants to thank us losers, other than Kale, for sucking so much at comics.
Yes.
Yeah. I hope he can write a speech.
Look. All right, I ate shit this year, but don't lump me in with you and Marco, Mr. I've never won before. I'm at
That's
least.
true.
Come on.
Wow.
All right.
Wow.
You are a co-winner.
I gotta say, this is pretty weak to be like, I won once.
Weak to say as somebody who's never won. Whatever. Fuck you, man.
Oh, I know my shit stinks.
Yeah, well, and like any fallen star, I need to cling to the time when I was good, so.
Yeah, that's pretty much what happened there, yeah. You're like, I remember high school football, the triumph, the highs and lows. The triumphs and defeats and epic highs and lows of high school football. I was definitely a cornerback.
We will be doing our predictions for 2022 a little later on, but unfortunately, Phil does have to go. So he's closing out 2021, leaving us a bit early. I was hoping to get your answers to these questions just real quick before you go.
Let's hear him.
All right. Which superhero movie will you enjoy the most in 2022? I have a list.
Okay, that means I will be on this episode next year.
Hopefully.
Yes.
Okay.
Morbius,
Nope.
The Batman,
Maybe.
Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness,
Probably not.
DC League of Super Pets,
Yes.
That's
the
it.
one.
Stop the list.
Thor, Love and Thunder,
Maybe.
Black Adam,
Probably not.
Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse 2 Part 1,
Likely.
and The Flash,
No.
Black Panther, Wakanda Forever.
Is that even coming out?
We'll see. I'll let you pick two. That way we have the
That one's got like casting problems now.
It's got
Yeah,
lead
that's-
casting problems.
Yes.
that's a whole can of worms. And then Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom.
Yeah, maybe. So what's his name directing again from
Yes, it
James
is
Wan.
James Wan.
James Wan, good director. It's either Spider-Verse or the Batman. I'm going to say they're not going to be able to repeat their performance. I think that's going to be too hard. I'm going to say the Batman.
Interesting.
Do you want to pick a backup just in case the Batman doesn't come out?
Spider-Verse 2.
Fair enough. All right. So your pick is the Batman. If for some reason the Batman does not release, then Spider-Verse 2 is your pick.
I understand it now. I'm not going to understand it in a year. You better drill it into my head when I like, why didn't I say I did say Spider-Verse.
Will Marvel announce any information about X-Men or Fantastic Four films? By that, we mean any casting, a release date, or the start of filming.
Not X-Men. I think we'll get a little bit about Fantastic Four.
So yes.
Yes.
Okay. Will DC announce a Justice League film in 2022?
No.
Okay. Will Jonathan Hickman revisit the X-Men outside of the digital first series that he's been doing with Declan Shalvey in 2022?
Does like a one shot or something count? Minis?
Yes.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I'll say yes just to be definitive. I think he could do a one shot here or there.
And what creator will break out in 2022?
Fuck, I haven't thought about this. Turn to my right. Maybe my bookshelf will help me out here.
Grant Morrison.
He's gonna break out of comics. Are they? Sorry.
Yeah, it's gonna be very multiversity.
Yeah.
Shoot. Let's see. How about Daniel Warren Johnson?
Ooh.
Strong,
choice.
Strong
Yeah,
choice.
That's a good choice.
Huh. Okay. Well, hopefully it's not going to be until the 2022 prediction show until we see you again. But certainly we will be paying attention to these prediction choices to see how right or wrong more likely how wrong you are in 2022. And if I do decide to add any questions to this, which may happen between now and the end of the show, I'll just ask you them later.
Watch me be on in 6 weeks, just like I missed the last 6 weeks. I'm just on again in 6 weeks.
Fair enough.
Yeah. It's been a real pleasure doing this show, guys. I'm very sad to not be able to do it full time anymore. This show has been very formative to me as a person, I think, and I've learned a lot about myself. I've learned a lot about just. I think I've become a better person because of this show. I really do, and I'm really gonna miss being able to do this every week. So I really want to thank the listeners for giving us the opportunity to bullshit and giving us an audience to listen to us. But really, sincerely, I want to thank the four of you for being the best friends anyone could ever ask for. Truly.
Yeah, man. It's been a ride. And it's not over. So thank you.
And fuck Tyler for trying to encroach on my spot. Just kidding. Just kidding.
That's a soundbite.
He's trying to fuck on me. All right, I gotta get up at 1 in the morning, everyone. So good night and good luck.
Take care.
Good
Take
night,
care,
buddy.
bud.
So Phil may be gone for now, but we still have quite a bit more show to do before we are done with this year. So we're going to keep things rolling. And we're going to talk a little bit about Spider-Man No Way Home. The $1 billion baby breaks the box office again. Huge success from Spider-Man No Way Home. It made $1 billion.
What?
Yes, it made $1 billion.
That's it's so weird how simultaneously very and not very shocking that is as a piece of news.
Yeah, like
Marco, what did you think this piece of news was going to be about?
I thought it was gonna be like, oh, it does the best of the pandemic movies, like 500 million or something. I don't know.
So, but when Sean said the $1 billion baby, that wasn't a clue to you at all.
But like it's wild to think that it made that. Like I thought it was on this because it's like it made some money, and then he said $1 billion. That's kind of crazy.
It is, but it's not. You know, we've talked
Yeah.
on the show a lot about how whether or not people are tired of theaters, whether or not there are franchises or characters that can bring people back to theaters. And I think this is a definitive proof that, you know, COVID or not COVID, people love Spider-Man and they love him to the tune of over $1 billion. This is the first movie to make $1 billion since The Rise of Skywalker, which of course was just before the pandemic became like a global consciousness thing. That was December of 2019. So, of course, just a couple of months later, now all of a sudden we're talking about COVID. But that's not the only achievement. Sorry, guys. That's not the only achievement for this film. It's also the third highest Christmas box office ever. That is for the like Christmas weekend. It, of course, it did come out during a pandemic, so those numbers might be a little wonky, but that's still really huge. And then Spider-Man No Way Home also has the distinction of being the highest grossing Sony movie ever.
That makes sense. That tracks.
Yeah, especially considering that it's breaking all these other records. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
right? None of the other record holders were Sony movies, so
Yeah. And then as of the 23rd of December, it has a 94% with critics. And it has the distinction of being the highest rated movie from fans ever in Rotten Tomatoes history at a 99%.
What? No way.
Yep. They even tweeted about it. They said with a 99% audience score, Spider-Man No Way Home is currently our highest rated movie with a minimum of 20K verified audience ratings.
That's crazy.
pretty crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, that's surprising. I'm surprised that it was this over Endgame, you know?
Yeah.
I guess it really speaks to the popularity of Spider-Man and that, like, you know, as big as the MCU has made Marvel overall as a brand, that, like, Spider-Man's the guy, you know?
I also think it's worth pointing out that for some people, for a lot of people our age, this is the culmination of, you know, our childhood, you know?
Yeah. Yep.
And that's significant. I think there are probably a lot of people who maybe aren't even all the way inclined toward Marvel movies in particular who said, hey, what? Tobey Maguire might be in this. Maybe the Green Goblin, Norman Osborn, Willem Dafoe. I got to see that, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a big deal. And I think a lot of people who would feel that way would also go on Rotten Tomatoes and say that, rate that. So to be honest, even me, I was obsessed with Endgame. This might have been more significant for me.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah.
So yeah,
It very much has the that event quality to it too. I was thinking about like something like as you were mentioning how it pulls people back in, kind of like when you reboot a universe. You have the big crossover clash. We've had a distinction of doing quite a few events for book clubs this year that have really helped solidify kind of the beats for that. And I think in retrospect, it kind of fulfills it checks those boxes for a lot of people where like, oh, maybe I was a lapsed comics reader the same way I was a lapsed superhero movie watcher. And this is now, going to be bringing something that I used to like. And how does this fare with the new stuff? And there's a lot of parallels, I think, that can be drawn there. It's not one-to-one, but that was something that it makes sense for why people would, literally risk lives to go see. But kudos. I mean, you can't knock it for bringing people to the fold.
I mean, anecdotally, like I know several people who are friends of mine who were people that like saw everything in the MCU and then after Endgame have not watched anything and like haven't seen any of the movies or Disney Plus shows, but are or have gone out of their way to see Spider-Man.
it's also kind of a lucky stroke for Marvel and Sony in that I think if this movie had released even 2 weeks later,
Even 1 week
we're having
later.
even 1 week, because you look at The Matrix not doing so hot in theaters. Obviously, it is available on HBO Max. I think if Spider-Man was available on Disney Plus, this is a completely different conversation. But Omicron now, I think it's 1 in 60 New Yorkers have been exposed in the last 7 days.
Yep.
Of course, count me among them. Maybe people are less willing to go and see this movie if that's still the case. But in any event, this is exactly what I was hoping would happen for this film. I think it's a great send off to this trilogy and to Spider-Man on film over the last 20 years. And I just can't wait to see where they go next.
Yeah. Check out our review.
Check out our review next week. The moratorium is fully off. Like we're gonna do speculation and all that. So, see it or be forewarned.
Let's go. Next movie, Miles Morales.
You know what? No, I don't
All
think
right.
so, man.
We tried.
So.
Okay. All right. Well,
Let's watch the way that Marvel decided to leave us from Spider-Man No Way Home, which was with a trailer. They released the Multiverse of Madness trailer this week, which of course was at the end of No Way Home. So now it feels okay to talk about it in public. So we're gonna go ahead and watch that with you guys and see what we think. So here we go. This movie,
Not
of
a fan
course, is
so far.
coming out next year. Think in March.
yeah.
It really, yeah. Go ahead.
I was gonna say it's definitely earlier in the year.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
early.
May 6th.
Thank you, May 6th. As you can see, it looks like things are broken. The world is broken. This is all the aftermath of No Way Home and the spell going wrong. You know that from the trailers.
Oh, that was actually
America
pretty hype.
Chavez right there.
Oh, is that who that was?
Oh
Yeah,
shit! Yeah.
Wait, can you rewind that really quick?
You
I
got
didn't
it.
even clock that the first time. Damn. She's right there.
There she is.
Yeah.
Whoa, Boricua.
Whoa.
Equa indeed.
That's cool.
Very hyped for that.
That's really cool.
We saw Doctor Strange's girlfriend. I'm sorry, I can't remember her name. Rachel at McAdams, I think, plays her.
Yeah, it is
Yeah.
Rachel McAdams. I can't remember the name of the character though.
She's
No, that's Wanda.
getting married. That's interesting.
Yeah, and I don't know. Part of me wonders if that's an alternate universe where it's him and he's seeing it, and I don't know.
He looked like he was in the audience to me.
I mean, like him stepping into that universe and seeing an alternate version of what could have been or something like that.
I see.
Because obviously, later on we see the evil Doctor Strange from What If,
And that was the teacher too, right? This guy,
yeah,
That's Mordo.
yeah.
Baron Mordo.
That was his sort of rival at wizard school at Hogwarts.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So let's pause on
Well,
this.
Marco's right though. He was his teacher as well. Yeah, he was the guy who, teaches him.
I thought it was the guy that in that What If episode of Doctor Strange.
No. Yeah.
So there's been a lot of conversation about this still image that I have paused on. This appears to be Shuma Gorath.
Hell yes.
Lots of people say it's not. In the notes, this character is listed as Giganta, not Shuma. Those of you who are fans of Marvel versus Capcom that's probably the only place you know Shuma Gorath.
That is absolutely true.
Yeah, he's purple in that game, right?
He's a lot of colors.
That was one of his alt skins.
Yeah, his
was purple.
primary was green.
Yeah.
So we don't quite know, but there is an interesting theory about that I will talk about a little later.
Nice. Oh, that was America again.
Yeah, she appears a few times here.
She's like in behind them as they open the door too, right?
Yes.
So I guess she's
on the squad.
She's really involved.
Yeah, she's gonna be like a supporting player.
That's actually pretty cool.
Probably like a Doctor Strange sidekick type situation for now.
So I'm gonna shoot back a little bit here. This appears to be evil Doctor Strange, right? From What If. Now, that may not necessarily be true.
Right.
That's my theory, but here's an alternative that I'll throw out. I have seen people talking about this potentially being Supreme Doctor Strange from elsewhere in the multiverse. But I've also seen a theory, and this one I really like, that's actually Shuma Gorath. That
interesting.
Shuma's physical representation after its body is defeated or leaves or whatever is this.
That's interesting.
You think a multiversal demon could be a little more creative?
Right. You would think so. I still think that's evil Doctor Strange from What If. It would be weird for them to invest so much into that idea and then not use it in the film. But I could also see a scenario where they just don't feel like What If is going to be relevant in the movies, and they didn't feel like using it.
Yeah. I definitely am more inclined to believe that theory, that it is the What If evil Doctor Strange, but we'll see.
Yeah. Either way, I think this trailer is really good. I think it leaves enough questions, and it's only the first. I'm sure we'll end up with 3 or 4, but it leaves you with
the whole movie.
Right. It leaves you with enough questions about what's going on that there's a lot of intrigue here. I like that Doctor Strange has to kind of pay a cost for what was a supreme fuck up in No Way Home. Really, really bad mistake that he made. I like that a lot. And America Chavez being involved is super cool. For those of you who don't know, she can punch through the multiverse or unlock, doors to different areas. So I kind of feel like that's going to be why she's a major factor here, allowing them to traverse the multiverse. She probably knows more about it than either one of these two, Scarlet Witch or Doctor Strange. So
I guess it's interesting that she's Wanda's in it. I've been trying to understand because her other dimension was the Darkhold, right? So I wonder if there's some sort of crossover in that. While you can have multiversal things, does the Darkhold count as a different world or universe?
Well, the Darkhold is just the book.
Yeah.
Isn't there a realm that they go to? because that's where whatchamacallit, wasn't that where like the book was formed and whatnot?
As far as I know, the Darkhold is just a book that I forget the name of the owner, unfortunately, but I'm not sure what you're referring to.
Yeah, because even WandaVision wasn't a multiversal situation. She froze that place in a specific, time frame and in a specific situation.
Yeah, even the red herring of Silver Surfer, Quicksilver was not like actually a multiverse situation.
Yeah.
So nothing related to the multiverse actually occurred during that show, other than the suggestion that, if I remember correctly, what was happening there was impacting the universe integrity. But that's all I can recall.
So I did a quick Google of it to remind myself. They mentioned the Dark Dimension. And
the Dark Dimension, okay.
And supposedly it's part of the multiverse ruled by Dormammu. I don't know if that means that we'll get to like traverse through whatever, because she's also has these new powers that she's been working on.
That was also the thing in that was the Ancient One was pulling from the Dark Dimension in the first film. So yeah, I guess that would make sense to tie it back to this.
Sure. Yeah. I'm really excited for this movie. From Marvel, this is the movie I'm most excited about in 2022.
Yeah, I think so. It has more implications, and I think that's fun. Like Wong is still probably Sorcerer Supreme, so we're trying to figure out like how that works. Yeah, it's cool stuff.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Sorry, go ahead.
I'm excited for Sam Raimi.
Yeah, true.
Who's directing? Yeah.
I obviously, I think it's easy for some people to kind of like give him a bad rap because of the rep that Spider-Man 3 probably rightfully has, but I think Sam Raimi's a really great director and has made a lot of great genre work, and the idea of him doing something that is like a little darker, that has like the multiverse element to it, is something that like it feels like in his wheelhouse. So yeah, I am really looking forward to this one. I definitely enjoyed and have enjoyed the Doctor Strange character, but I feel like it's been very, very surface level. Like magic as a concept in the MCU has really not been explored to its fullest, and it reminds me a lot of kind of the way that they eased into the whole Asgardian thing in the original phase, where it was kind of like, oh, like they're not like they're yeah, like he's a Norse god, but like not really, like it's felt like they've had a little bit of distance with magic up until WandaVision, and to see that like we're really taking a deeper step into this side of the Marvel universe and making it something that is more prevalent overall in like the broader kind of goings on of the universe is something that I'm overall interested in. So yeah, I feel like this movie has a chance to be a lot of fun, but also to have some pretty like interesting longer term implications for kind of where things are going overall.
Do you guys think we get a glimpse of Kang in this?
I don't know.
Kang.
What's that, Kale?
A Kang.
Sure.
A Kang.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I think I feel 50-50 on whether he shows up in any movie like this. Because it's like he didn't show up in Spider-Man, and that made sense because the people who were getting pulled in were specifically related to Peter and like whatever, right? But like he could have shown up in that, and I feel similarly about this, where like this he could play into this in some way or like whatever, but there's also equal likelihood that this is just another crack in the overall multiversal, dam, and
We're just like experiencing this one.
Yeah, in the same way that we did with Spider-Man, where it's like, oh, okay, this is going to be very specifically related to Doctor Strange and what he's done and whatever, versus getting into that stuff. Because I have to imagine that we're going to explore Kang in a very, very significant way in season 2 of Loki. So I feel like if he were to appear in something like this, it would be in more of a cameo role. But
I bet it's a an after credit scene.
That would make sense to me.
Close out of the video.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
I think that the next time we'll see Kang in a real capacity won't be until Ant-Man, because that's what they announced. And it feels like it was deliberately done that way. They announced his appearance there to get ahead of his appearance in Loki. I don't think that they're going to overuse the character. I think you can probably expect him to be used very similarly to Thanos.
Yeah.
Until that point at which he appears in Ant-Man. That being said, I think it's literally always possible that he could have an after credits appearance in any movie that relates to the multiverse. Frankly, even ones that don't.
Sure.
And the more movies that come out that do involve the multiverse, the more likely it is that we will see him. So let's move forward though and talk about something that it's funny we're closing out the year with this with this as one of our talking points, because I feel like we talked about this throughout this year and last year quite a bit, is Jason Aaron is relaunching The Punisher. The return of The Punisher will happen in 2022, and he's sporting a new logo.
Cool. All right.
Now,
Is it?
yes. I know that if you look at the cover to the comic, it doesn't appear that way. But in the actual book, he's wearing a shirt that's basically like a hand logo. And where the Punisher logo should be is the logo, what appears to be the logo for the Beast of the Hand.
Okay.
Yeah. So, he's going to have a new armor, new logo, and he will be involved with the Hand in some capacity. Jason Aaron said this: after writing Punisher over the years, I've always been fascinated by the character of Frank Castle. What moments made him the Punisher even before that fateful day in the park? And how far will he go to win the war that has consumed his life? Spoiler, as far as it damn well takes. This story is the destined next step in the dark and tragic evolution of Frank Castle, from troubled kid to heroic soldier to revenge-driven vigilante, to the duly anointed king of killers. Believe me when I say I am as excited about this story as anything I've ever written for Marvel. CB Cebulski said that we will see an inevitable evolution of the character. Don't know exactly what that means, but I do think that you can't, at this point, tell a mainline Punisher story without addressing the elephant in the room.
Yeah. That's, I think, the thing that I look at this and, like, I'll come out and say it. I'm not a fan of the logo.
The new one?
The new one? Yeah, like, I just don't think it looks very good. It's, like, a little bit, like, I don't know, it feels a little overdone, you know? And I don't feel like it, you know, any superhero logo, no matter how iconic, can be interpreted and reinterpreted and evolve, and like we've seen that with, you know, like look at how Superman's logo has changed over the years and gone back and all these other things, right? So just because this is the current iteration, I don't think means that this is going to be like, oh, this is the new timeless logo of the Punisher moving forward, right? I feel like this is going to be what represents the character for this era of the character, while he's the king of killers, while he's working with the Hand, while he's doing these things that he's currently going off to go do. And that this will be an opportunity for Marvel to kind of quietly evolve Frank and the Punisher and what his role in the Marvel universe is in a broader sense, and allow his overall look and everything to continue to develop and evolve. I feel like it's kind of similar to what we saw them do with Venom, like over the last decade, where like it was clear that Venom needed to go in a new direction because there was nowhere else to go with what his status quo had been. And we got into the whole Flash Thompson era and him as a agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. and he's a Guardian of the Galaxy. And like he went into all these different places and then they kind of brought him back to status quo with all those new elements in play, right? Where like then he became the King in Black and all this shit. And like, but now we're having a book that's kind of getting him back to his roots again, but in a new, fresh way. And I imagine that's what they're looking to do with the Punisher now, is that like they need to distance him from, you know, as Sean said, like the elephant in the room and the way in which his iconography has been co-opted. And I think rather than trying to like make that a dramatic, like, you know, oh, like we're going to distance ourselves from this logo by making a new logo. This is like, we're going to take the character in a new direction that warrants that evolution and that change so that it feels more organic. And, you know, they leave the ability to like redress and maybe try to retake that logo at some point in the future if they so choose. You know, I imagine that's their thought process here, right?
Yeah.
And that makes sense. I mean, I think for the Venom comparison is really apt, especially now. And in light of, like, I'm not sure where Frank Castle has been in the Marvel universe the past few years. So I can only imagine it's not been not in too many places, maybe a few crossovers here or there with like individual characters. So to have your own book and be able to drive a narrative in order to change the character absolutely makes sense. And it makes it makes for just more room in storytelling, especially depending on wherever we're going to end up the next event, either the end of Devil's Reign or whatever comes out next. Agreed on the logo. It looks derivative. It's not all that, like it looks okay. You're obviously trying to iterate on a classic staple of a logo, and include some of those influences that you have now, especially considering the context of what he's going to be doing. But still, it feels fine. And he has ninja swords now, which are cool. But if this is all we're sort of doing to change the outside of the character, hopefully it gets reflected a bit better in the characterization, because at the end of the day, he still looks like he's out to kill and kick ass. So it doesn't feel like we're doing too much to him,
Right.
like realistically. But I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what Aaron does.
According to Bleeding Cool, when they first found any type of like reference to this book, it was called Punisher No More. Now it's just Punisher, so that's kind of an interesting
Remember that?
wrinkle.
We talked about that one.
We probably did, yeah.
Even like the promo image that the Newsarama piece is using, like it very much evokes that image.
Yeah. Jason Aaron had a little more to say. He said, so many different groups have tried to appropriate the Punisher symbol and write their own story of what that symbol means to match whatever their agenda, but they don't get to define the story of this character. I like that. I don't want Marvel to cave in to people who feel like they have to do away with the Punisher, or dramatically change him to make it so that people can't appropriate the iconography. I think, it is their character, and there are a lot of people who like the Punisher for the right reasons, and just like the stories that get told with him, regardless of, tying him to any other like ideas. But at the same time, I do think you have to address it on some level, or it's just kind of, I don't know if I want to say irresponsible, but it's just weird. So good. I hope this is that. And then, of course, I want to make mention of the fact that there will be two artists on this book, Jesus Saez and Paul Azakeda,
Jesus Saiz.
Jesus Saiz, and Paul Azakeda, and Dave Stewart on colors. So
Cool.
that should be pretty cool. March 9th, 2022. If you like Frank Castle, I think this is probably a good place to jump on because Jason Aaron has written The Punisher a couple of times in the past, and it's always been good.
But he's probably, for that reason, a good person to, push us into a, kind of like bold new direction, if that's like what the aim is,
Yeah.
All new, all different Punisher.
Basically. Again.
Well, Marvel's doing something all new, something you can't even imagine. They're pitting the Eternals against the Avengers.
Let's go, boys.
Mm-hmm.
I can't
You guys have been
believe
reading-
this would have been the end game.
Yeah, right. I'll give you that one.
This is cool. I'm down. I've been digging the Eternals. I don't know what's going on in the Avengers for them to want to have to fight the Eternals because they're not even on planet right now. So I don't know how that works, but cool. I'm down for this.
I'll explain. So, this is a rivalry that ties back to the 1 million BC era of Marvel, where there were Avengers, and which I can't stand that concept. I have to be honest. It really, to me personally, it trivializes the unification of the original characters who made up the Avengers for there to have already been Avengers at another point in time. But that's what Marvel loves to do.
We talk about this actually in our Thursday reviews with Tyler. We reviewed Avengers Forever. We got into a little bit of that. So actually that makes sense.
Yeah. And this opening salvo is going to suggest that at that time, Makari and Ajax had an encounter with those Avengers that then has implications for now. The Avengers live inside the body of the progenitor Eternal, and the Eternals don't like that. But more than not liking it, they have to go to that Eternal's body, or I'm sorry, I'm calling it an Eternal Celestial. They have to go to progenitor's body to get something from it, but the Avengers live there. So that's going to be how they initially clash. This is go ahead, Kel.
This sounds like more Avengers v X-Men garbage.
I think you said that. Avengers v X-Men is happening too. There's going to be a free comic book day tease of that. And I don't know if it's going to be a three-way dance or what, but the Avengers are going to be very busy in 2022 fighting other superhero teams.
Getting their asses kicked.
One can only hope.
That one shot though, Celestia, that was actually pretty good. I think
Gillen?
Yeah, Gillen. And this is when he did like his little break between issues 6 and 7, where he worked with other artists.
Yeah.
And it was with, who is this? Kei Zama. That was really good art, really cool story. And if that's the lead-in, honestly, I think it's worth reading because it's it explains quite a bit, and the drama in there is good.
Who do we know who the team on this is going to be?
On the
event, Avengers and Eternals.
Yeah. Well, no, we don't. It looks like issue 10 is going to be the kickoff to the idea of there being an issue. That's where we're going to see them going, the Eternals going to the body of the progenitor Celestial. So that's where we'll see that start off. But other than that, we're not really sure.
So they're going to go back because we saw that in Celestia.
Yeah. Celestia number 1 features the fight between between Ajax and Makari and the Avengers of 1 million BC.
Okay, cool.
So, but we don't know who's going to be the creative team on the actual event itself. You know, I really, I'm not hyped. I think the Eternals got buried when they faced off with, or I'm sorry, it wasn't the Eternals. It was the the Inhumans. They got buried
Mhm.
when they faced off with the X-Men,
Mhm.
I think it was.
Yeah.
Just because no one cared about them, and it didn't matter that Marvel was trying to make the Inhumans the new X-Men. People hated it, they rejected it, and the Inhumans got shelved. I feel like the Eternals in comics don't have a cachet big enough to justify this, and they run the risk of putting them up against a team that just makes them look bad. I think that's what happened with the X-Men and the Inhumans. I think this is kind of a risky thing. I'd rather the Eternals continue to be their own entity, separate from all that other goofy stuff.
It sounds like another plot that could just be a conversation between the two teams. Oh, you have a thing that's been here way before we live here? Oh, okay. Hey, no big deal.
Our bad.
Right.
Yeah.
It's not as if the Avengers have like deep connections to the Celestials anyway. What do they care? That's just where they live right now.
And for context on that, the Celestial also granted them access and allowed them to live there. And this was Ajax, like God. And so she has a crisis because God has allowed them to live in its body. And she flips out. And they leave it alone, but with a threat. So I guess that's coming back to pay off.
That.
But yeah, it very much, it feels like it was a conversation and Ajax is just going through a thing. Honestly, and so I don't know, we'll see how that resolves, but I definitely agree that this would be a bit cleaner if they just let the Eternals do their thing and be their thing, considering where everything is going in this story as of right now, and where where everybody is, plus the implications with Thanos has been involved quite a bit, and so there's like other things going on in the background. If this cuts into the story, that's gonna be annoying because you're gonna have something totally unrelated cut into what's been a really well paced and well thought out arc.
Baby, you know that's what it's gonna be.
It's comics, baby.
Can I just point out, this is probably the first time on the main show that Marco has been able to add clarity to anything we've ever talked about.
Yo, honestly, and you know what? I'm flexing right now. I was like, yo, Celestia, yeah, the Avengers, all this shit.
It's the first time for everything, huh?
I know comics.
Marco's got to pick up some slack now, man.
That's nuts. Word, yeah. You better start reading your fucking funny books, man.
Yeah, this is like, I think this is the kind of event that has turned me off from events, right? Where it just feels like extremely transparent and like trite, right? For all of the reasons that y'all have already said and more. It's like, it feels like a conflict that's orchestrated specifically to have these two teams have a title together. And I'm really frustrated that it feels like, whether it's editorial or whoever, right? Like, feels like the only way to do that is to have them have a conflict.
I mean, that's a tale as old as time.
Yeah.
As far as superhero books go.
And yes, but like, it feels like these kinds of events where it's like a blank versus blank are like really just chasing like shit that was really cool like 40 years ago, right? Or like in 20 years ago.
Comics, baby.
And fair enough, but like, I don't know, man. Like, I really feel like the problem that Sean outlined is a big one, where it's like, I don't think that there's heat here. I don't think there's enough reason for you to have these groups go toe to toe, and one is so much more popular than the other that it's like, I don't know. It just feels like the laziest thing you could do, frankly, to like get the Eternals over, right? If they're like, oh, we want to have the Eternals seem really cool and put them in a book that a lot of people will pick up, so let's have them fight the Avengers. And it's like, that's all you got?
Yeah. And it's annoying because like the book has been really good, and I think it makes sense, like back in the day when the books used to have self-contained stories, and it's villain of the week or monster of the week, whatever. And now we're gonna cross over with this because that's what's going on this week. But there's a whole narrative that's going on, and I don't want that cut into for this. Meh. I don't care if more people read the book. I want a good book.
I can accept any premise, like any combination, any whatever, any event, if there's buildup.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Gotta be
the idea that they're gonna go to war because the Avengers live in a celestial, just not enough heat for me.
Yeah, it just doesn't feel super believable, right? Like the whole thing that Kale outlined, where it's like these are like there are members of the Eternals that have been Avengers, right? Like nobody could be like, like Captain America can't be like, you know what? I know Cersei, she was an Avenger. Why don't I go have a conversation with her about this? And we'll be like, our bad. We'll move. Cool. Or like, oh, we have permission to be here from your god. Are we good? Like, it feels like that's either of those are far more believable scenarios for me than, oh, well, we'll just beat the shit out of each other then. Like, it's like maybe once, maybe for like an issue, right? But like that's to your point, Kale, that's the formula for the superhero team up is they fight once and then they're like, oh, no, we don't actually have to fight. Cool, let's go do a thing together. We're like, can we just get to that part sooner?
And again, they had that conversation, which is wild. Is hey, you're in our celestial. Oh, but he said it's okay. Meltdown, and okay, I guess we leave it alone. That was the conversation. I don't know.
Well, we'll see. Eternals 10 is where they're gonna revisit this concept and kind of start sowing more seeds. So we don't have too long to wait. Our last news item of the day is going to be about Batgirl, because this week it was announced that Michael Keaton is going to be in the Batgirl film as Bruce Wayne Batman.
Let's fucking go.
That's crazy.
Yeah, like let's do it.
Wasn't this guy Batman already?
There you go, Marco.
There you go, buddy.
Hell yeah.
Look at you.
There's the boy I know.
It's funny because obviously you have to imagine that this decision was made, some time ago, right? And that we're just hearing about it now. But like it coming right off the heels of Spider-Man 3 is kind of funny. Of them being like, oh yeah, that's a good idea. We should bring back the Batman that everybody likes. We should do that. Like,
Vulture's gonna be in our movie now. Frankly, I wonder if more people know him as the Vulture now.
Probably
young people anyway. But I think for folks who are like our age, but especially older than us, it's definitely the latter.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask this question, because I think this is the major piece. I have two questions, actually. First one is, how do you feel about the fact that it's Keaton and not Affleck? Second question is this enough to get this movie a film theater release?
no, and I'm gonna say no.
No, and maybe is where I'd land on that. I think it's possible, right? Like if the film, that happens, right? Like there are examples in the past of films that were intended to be, direct to DVD or streaming or something like that make the jump because, a star gets attached and there's interest and blah, blah, blah. Could be.
Well, that actually happened already with Blue Beetle. Blue Beetle's now getting a theatrical release, and there's no announced reason why.
There you go. So it could be that they signed somebody who's a movie star that wants to do it, and now they feel like they can get it over. I think there's a similar argument to be made for Michael Keaton, right? Like he's obviously an actor who a lot of people have nostalgic love for, but he's also been experiencing a bit of a career renaissance the last couple years, So It could be, but overall, I'm happy to see this rather than have it be Affleck. I think, I don't necessarily blame Affleck for the fact that his years were not the most memorable. But I feel like the more that Warner Brothers does to distance themselves from the DCU era, the better, I think that I'm really excited for the Batman and to get a clean slate and get to just do something that doesn't have to carry the baggage of movies that came out several years ago under different regimes with different goals and all that messiness. It's like, whether you like those movies or not, I feel like the best thing for DC to do now is to try to reset some of the pieces and start moving forward. So, no hate for Ben Affleck really, but I don't need to see more of him in the Batman role. And, the fact that his next appearance will be his final appearance, I think is probably a good thing.
It's interesting that it's with Leslie Grace. This was going to be the HBO movie that came out on Max. Hopefully,
sorry, is it still a film or is it a series? I was thinking it was a series.
It's a film. But it was only coming out on HBO Max. It wouldn't be in theaters.
Right. Okay.
And for it to not be Ben Affleck, I wonder what that means for whatever timeline they're trying to do, if there's implications outside of Flash that maybe we're getting here, that I don't know, the multiverse or whatever has broken, and now Ben Affleck is over here, and there's this Leslie Grace, that there's this Batgirl that is whatever, and now Michael Keaton somehow coming from the Tim Burton thing into it looks and feels messy. This inclusion feels super messy, and I don't know how the directors of Bad Boys for Life are gonna pull it off.
Oh, that's right. Oh,
damn,
man.
I forgot about that.
I personally think this is a really bad idea. I think that now you're saying you have the Snyderverse version of Commissioner Gordon and the Tim Burton version of Batman in the same movie with Batgirl, who may or may not be the biological daughter of Gordon. How does this jive with anything that's come before? Because you can't have, right, the only reason why anyone cares about Michael Keaton as Batman is because he was before. So you have to play off that. That has to be canon. And if it's canon, are you telling me that this is the Batgirl that he knows? This is the Gordon he knows? It can't be the Gordon he knows. How? That's not possible.
This is gonna be like that scene where Otto pulls off the mask. He's like, "Wait a minute, you're not my Batman," or whatever, because the villain. Oh no, the villain's Firefly, right?
Yeah.
Dude, who gives a shit about Firefly?
Brendan Fraser, man.
Oh, that's right.
The questions that we're asking seem like they're too big for this movie.
Yes.
And
sure.
I wish they would just resolve all of this stuff and do a Batgirl movie where she gets to just be the star of the show. You don't put Batman in a Batgirl movie, because then everybody's going to talk about Batman, right? At least not the first one. Let her be who she needs to be. Let him be a supporting character. And a Batman that's established, that we already know about, that we're comfortable with, so that he's not taking the heat off of her.
Is he Batman or is he Bruce Wayne? I mean, obviously, we don't know to what extent he'll be in the suit, but
yeah, I don't know that. I guess I'm if let's say it was Ben Affleck, right? And he was just Bruce, that's totally fine.
Yeah.
But because it's Michael Keaton, now when we should be talking about Batgirl, we're not. We're talking about Who is he? How does this make sense? Does it line up? I don't want to think about that. This should be a special moment for Batgirl, and every announcement I feel like takes away from what this is supposed to be about.
Yeah, very much so.
I just want a great Batgirl movie. I really do.
Well, it's going to be made even better because Michael Keaton's in it. Have you heard?
Maybe. That's not inherently bad, but like, do I trust them to make this make sense and do justice to Batgirl? Not so much.
No, not the Justice League. It's Batgirl.
Nice try.
Batgirl, Batman, gonna do.
So yeah, I'm not really that enthused about this. We don't know any release date. It could be good, could always be good, and that's what I'm gonna have to hope for. To close out today, to close out the year, we're gonna do our 2022 predictions. So if you enjoyed listening to our wrap up of the predictions from last year, you're gonna love our predictions going into the new year. All right. So we're going to kick things off the same way we did last year with which superhero movie do you think you will enjoy the most in 2022? I have a list that I will reference for this. And again, just like we did with Phil a little earlier, we are going to do that caveat of, we'll have two picks. And if your first pick doesn't come out, that's the only way it's not your first pick, is if it doesn't come out, your second pick will be your backup. So
you don't think that post Spider-Man winter of Omicron, like where these movies aren't coming out, or you mean just like production wise?
I just mean from a production standpoint, but frankly, I'm not I have doubts about the Batman meeting its release date. I think March might be a little optimistic, but I don't know. We don't know.
Especially if they're still filming in Glasgow. It really seems like the whole UK is going to go into another lockdown.
Yeah. So, but if we end up not needing them, perfect. So here we go. Morbius, which by the way has a January 28th release date. That's pretty soon.
That's literally next month.
Yeah. The Batman, Doctor Strange, DC League of Pets. Sorry guys, this is getting harder and harder to do. Thor Love and Thunder, Black Adam, Spider-Verse 2, The Flash, Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, and Aquaman, The Lost Kingdom. Who wants to throw their prediction out there first?
I'll go first. For me, it's Spider-Verse 2 and then The Batman.
Ooh, mine is reversed because I liked Phil's logic. I don't know how they'll do for a second one. The first one was pretty novel, so maybe they'll lean into bits too much or something, as sequels are wont to do. So I'm gonna do Batman and Spider-Verse.
I feel pretty confident that Miller and Lord will deliver. Their track record's pretty fucking good.
I mean, I don't think you could have a more ironclad prediction for yourself at that point, Pete.
Yeah, I think I'm pretty likely to love that movie.
I'm gonna say the Batman strongly, and then Doctor Strange.
Mine is going to be Across the Spider-Verse and Thor.
Huh. Okay.
I like Taika. I like that it seems like they could introduce Natalie Portman as Thor. Is what's been announced and reported, and I like what Taika's been doing over the past few years, so I feel pretty good about that.
Wait, I changed my mind. Can I change my mind?
Sure.
All right, I'm gonna actually say Doctor Strange and then Batman.
Okay.
Interesting.
A little surprising, but okay. How about TV
he's
shows?
playing that long game.
I'm like, wait a minute. I remember liking WandaVision. I can do it.
So for TV shows, on the Marvel side, we have Miss Marvel, the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special. That's like I think it's a 1 episode thing.
Yeah, it's a one-off.
I'm not gonna count that. That's bullshit. So scratch that. She-Hulk, What If season 2, and Moon Knight.
Ooh.
Is Peacemaker on that?
That was just Marvel. I'm gonna get into DC now. What the heck is this list? Okay, here we go. From DC, we have Peacemaker, The Sandman, Superman and Lois, Naomi, Flash, Legend of Tomorrow, Batwoman, Stargirl, Titans, Harley Quinn, Doom Patrol. Those are your options.
Does Marco ever learn? I'm gonna say Sandman.
Okay.
All right.
What about you, Kale?
Are we doing 2 for this one or just the one?
Just the one.
Oh, I'm gonna hate myself for this. I'm gonna hate myself for this. I'm gonna say Moon Knight.
What? That's a good choice.
Now, for me, it isn't.
I'm gonna say She-Hulk, and I'm gonna regret that.
I see. I feel like I will like She-Hulk.
She-Hulk will have Daredevil.
She-Hulk has Tatiana Maslany, which is very exciting.
I kind of want to give it to She-Hulk as well, because I feel like I will like it for similar reasons to the way that I liked WandaVision, where it says here in the Screen Rant article that it's described as a half-hour legal comedy.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like I will like that. You know, I feel like if it leans into being something different, I could see myself getting into that.
I forgot it was a comedy.
I think that's what's gonna make me not like it.
Yeah, dude. I'm not. I'm going into Moon Knight. I'm choosing Moon Knight.
I'm just not sure.
Cowards.
I feel like I'm on the fence
Cowards,
between
you
that
picked the
and
same
Moon
fucking
Knight.
thing. Yours isn't even coming out, you piece of shit.
0 points on the board again.
All right, I'm gonna say Moon Knight as well.
Yep. Yeah. I'm on Moon Knight.
Neil
You're all
Gaiman's
wrong.
too busy writing fan fiction for Good Omens to do Sandman.
Or fan fiction for North mythology for some reason.
There are lots of other shows that could theoretically come out, but I don't anticipate them, like Armor Wars, Echo, Marvel Zombies, Secret Invasion. I feel like those things are still marinating, and I don't think they're going to come out.
Yeah.
If they get announced, I guess anyone can, add to their, change their poll, but I don't think we're going to see any of those. Will Marvel announce any information about the X-Men or Fantastic Four films? Again, reiterating, that means casting, a release date, or production starting or anything like that. It doesn't count if they say there will be a movie, because we already know that.
Let me ask this. Does it count if there is any mention of any of those things for a Disney Plus thing?
If a character appears,
That counts.
then yes.
Okay. Then I would say
it can't be like how in what's it called? In Black Widow, there was actually a mutant, but nobody knew and nobody cared, whatever. It has to be like something really relevant.
Right. Okay. I'm gonna say yes. I think they will announce something. I don't know that it will. I don't think we'll have anything happen necessarily yet, but I feel like we're getting to the point where it's time for them to announce more stuff. Because when you think of the movies that we know exist and the ones that are like now imminent, and then the ones that were further out that are now kind of closer, right? Like we've now heard Blade's voice, right? Like Blade went from being a movie that felt like it was really far off to being like, oh, okay, that's like coming in the next wave and a half or whatever, right? I feel like it's time to announce what comes after what's been announced. And, you know, I think either the Fantastic Four or the X-Men have to be a part of that. Also, I think now that they've opened the gates for the whole, like, oh, characters from other universes and stuff, like, they might backdoor stuff from the X-Men that's already existed as a way to, like, roll those characters in. I don't know. You know, I feel like the idea that they're still just going to keep those pieces off the board now that they finally have them again just seems really unlikely.
Yeah, I definitely think, to what Pete said, it's time. They're teasing out a lot, and they have these grander plans, and as the MCUs want to do. So I think the Fantastic Four is probably more likely than the X-Men at this point. I wonder if we're not going to get something leading up to the X-Men, similar to a Spider-Man. They're probably going to be pretty delicate about it because it's been a property that's been so consistently a presence. Fantastic Four has gotten 2-3 movies, probably a bit more malleable. So I think for that to just be an outright announcement or some sort of, information snuck into something probably makes a lot of sense. So I say yes to this.
I also say yes.
Oh man, this is tough. This is really tough. So you all said yes, right?
Yeah.
That worked for you last time, right?
I mean, yeah.
That's true.
Might as well.
I'm going to say yeah. Because 2023 is the end, if I remember correctly, that's the end of phase 4.
Right.
There's nothing projected past that year, movie-wise. So they have to start talking about what's after that. So I'm going to say yes, but I don't think it's actually going to happen. But I'm going to say yes.
I feel like, especially when you think about the context of like where Spider-Man 3 ends and like this whole new era for Peter, and we're talking about like moving into a lot of the like classic beats for that character. Like, there's a lot of those that are connected to the Fantastic Four. Like,
yeah.
And guess who else has a relationship with them? She-Hulk, right? It's like, it feels like we're there, right? It feels like it's time.
Yeah. Yeah. I completely agree.
At least for the 4.
Will Jonathan Hickman return to the X-Men in any capacity outside of the digital first series he has with Declan Shalvey right now?
God, I hope so.
I
hope
yes.
so. I hope so. I say no. Because I feel like if he wouldn't have walked away if he could come back soon.
I don't know. Based on the way that we talked about it, it feels like Marvel wants him to do other things more than he was not interested in continuing to do X-Men. So the idea that he will be like, okay, yeah, I'm going to go do these other things, but here's this X-Men project I want to do or whatever. Or I'm going to come back for an annual or an issue or something, like, seems like such a low bar that I feel like we will see something. I don't think we'll see something major.
Does that include like them appearing in stuff that he's doing?
No, it has to be specifically an X-Men project.
Title.
Yeah, and it can't just be like an announcement. It has to be like a series that comes out or a book that comes out.
Yeah. Something has to be in print by him in 2022 that's new and not a coincidence or anything like that.
Right.
I say no, actually. Yeah.
I'm going to say no. Now, I heard a rumor that Jonathan Hickman's next project would be a Spider-Man series with Chris Bacalo. So do you want to, that's my question now. Do you guys think one of his 2022 projects will be that?
I don't know, but I
Sure.
fucking hope so. Yeah, that sounds
is
great.
Is that a real question?
Yeah.
Like for the
Yeah.
list?
Yes.
With Chris Bacalo?
Yes.
Fuck it. A man can dream. Yes. Why not? Yes.
Yeah. Why not? Yeah. He's done the
Nah.
Avengers. He's done the Fantastic Four. He's done the X-Men. It makes sense.
What mountains are left for
Yes.
him to climb?
Yeah.
I say yes. They want him for other projects. What other projects are those? There's just not that many things that would necessitate Hickman being on them. So, but they just started their new initiative with Spider-Man. So that would be kind of weird.
Where did this rumor
Isn't
come
it
from?
ending soon though?
Bleeding Cool.
Bleeding Cool? No.
The Beyond piece is ending soon. Yeah. I'm going to say yeah. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I'm going with a yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think I necessarily want a Hickman Spider-Man. Just because he's not the type of writer I think I associate with like a solo character. I really like what he does with teams.
Yeah.
But I could see it.
All right. Will DC announce a Justice League film in 2022?
No.
Aquaman's coming out. Flash. Yes. Tentative. Ugh, that was so nervous. Yes.
No.
Does any Justice League film count? Or does it have to be like live action?
Live action.
Then no.
Okay.
Justice Gods.
Will DC announce a reboot of the Justice League or the DC Comics in 2022?
Par for the course.
No.
Oh.
I hesitate there because I feel like we should be coming up on something soon.
Well,
I'm still a no.
They just did Infinite Frontier. Like that just wrapped up maybe a few months ago?
But it's still the next thing like that is still going in the Justice
League Incarnate.
Yeah. So
I feel like the answer is no, because I feel like the way that they've built it out makes it that like they've said that they wanted to go for this continuity light thing, and they've just established it, and I don't know, I feel like they're gonna ride that ride a little bit longer before they try to tie things back up.
And let me also just say, a new status quo is not the same as a reboot. So if they said, oh, this is the evil empire era, like that doesn't matter. It has to be a materially different DC universe.
Right. Like things are getting blown up.
Yeah, I say no then.
2 more years.
I think I'm with you. I'm going to say no, and I think I'll probably say yes, not the next time, but the time after that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that makes sense.
So 2023 joint.
Somewhere in that space there. Will Joker 2 be announced?
Oh my God, great question.
Nah.
No.
Say yes, Cal.
I think it might be yes.
It's possible, dude. You could be the one.
It might be yes.
If you say no and we're all right, wow. If you say yes and we're all wrong, that's great for you.
I feel it. I feel it in my bones. I know.
He's pulling from the same from the same orb there as Romby. Like, all right, somewhere it's in my tummy.
Listen. My creative breakout, I think, is a good pull this time.
Okay.
So what's your answer here, so we can get to that?
Rory McConville.
Oh.
Sorry, I meant what's your answer to Joker?
To this question.
Yes, I say it. Yeah, I say yes.
You say yes. Okay.
And
so your
Rory
breakout-
McConville is the Joker.
Okay.
Wow, Rory McConville as your breakout creator.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know
He's
what?
doing Spawn. He's
Strategic.
got, couple image things going on now. I think that's I think it's solid.
I'm
Okay.
gonna say my boy Tom Taylor.
That's another one, dude. Like this is all,
I
like
feel like that's
bro, he's already on the come up. Like he's doing events and shit. Like he's the guy right now. How you can't
Okay. In order for
Oh,
Tom
God.
Taylor,
No,
answer.
someone else go first.
a
No.
non-Daredevil event.
I think that's the thing. I think Tom Taylor has to do an inline in continuity event.
and not like Nightwing,
Yeah.
Bloodhaven revisited. It has to be like
Fucking
some
Infinite
real
Crisis.
shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's gotta be
Alright.
it's gotta be a crisis level event.
Oh, okay. Go crisis level. Come on, no, that's
Those are the
Hey,
only
That's an
events
event.
that matter at DC is the
I know
crisis stuff.
I know you're just a baby and you've only been around a year. That's what an event is a
what
crisis.
about like Forever Evil or
That's a
like
crisis.
That was
That's a crisis,
that was a
baby.
crisis-esque
Oh,
event.
all right. Fuck it. Yeah, all right. You know what? Let's go. Tom Taylor. Tom Taylor with the caveat that he has to do a crisis level event.
Okay.
Okay.
All
Now,
right.
I also want to say, I think this year, this category should be worth 2 points. Does everybody agree to that?
Sure.
All
I'll
right,
take
then.
him.
Yeah.
Okay. Pete, do you have an answer?
Sean's got a
Um,
hot ass answer, I bet.
Me?
He wouldn't no, Sean.
Oh,
Sean.
yeah, right.
He wouldn't put that down.
I kind of want to hear yours
Have a,
first, Sean. Do you have one already?
My answer is Grant Morris. No. Go ahead, Pete. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, I think I'm gonna guess friend of the show Jeremy Holt. We talked to Jeremy very recently on the show. And on that episode, if you listen to that conversation, you'll recall that we had a little conversation off mic about some of the other things that they have going on. I think between the growth that they've seen this year with the success of, Made in Korea, some of the new opportunities that have come up like House of Slay, some of their first work at Marvel, I feel like it's only a matter of time before they're getting bigger opportunities like that on a more consistent basis. So it might be a year too early for this.
That's what I think.
But I'm gonna go for it because they saw a lot of growth in a year here, and if some of the things that they are working on come together, I think they have a real chance to be a breakout star. And I want that for Jeremy, so that's where my vote's gonna go.
It's good.
Okay. Now, I think that this year, this is probably harder to answer than any year before. And so I'm going to really just throw something crazy out there.
Grant Morrison.
I'm gonna throw out Rom V.
Again?
I'm gonna throw out Rom V, and the reason is because I think that Rom V is positioned right now to do way bigger things than what he did this year. And I'm talking about, I think we could see an event from Rom, and not just at Marvel or not just at DC, but at Marvel potentially. I think we could see an event. So I'm willing to accept that he has to have at least one event from Marvel or DC and an indie book, i.e. not Marvel or DC, image counts, that hits.
I was going to say that's probably a good caveat to consider somewhere in there because I think that's a place that Rom has not yet had like the big at bat, like obviously, Rom's done like a good amount of creator owned stuff, and some of which we've really liked, but I don't feel like he's had that breakout indie hit yet, like that gets like that crazy buzz. So yeah, maybe.
I'm gonna tighten the belt on you just one more step. I'm gonna say you have to get both of those for the full 2 points.
He said and.
Yeah,
So-
I have to get both of those to get any points.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right.
Oh,
I think that's
see.
good.
Wait. So, Kale, you're saying to get both points, you need both, or either or gets you the 1 point?
Yeah.
So even
But-
let's say that Rom has both of those things, I could still lose. Tom Taylor could have a juggernaut year. Rory McConville,
Sure.
they could be undeniable.
Right.
I'm just saying that right now, Rom is bigger than any of them. So I can't just win off the strings.
Sure.
Yes.
sure.
He has to have both of those things for me to win.
I think
Yeah.
that's
Okay.
fair.
All right. So that I'm with Rom. Boom. Yeah, that's it. That's
We
all I
gotta
got.
make That T-shirt. I'm with Rom.
I'm with Rom.
I want to sell that to Rom.
Yeah, ask him if we can use his likeness.
I love that.
It's just a picture of Rom just like
Yeah.
So that is going to do it for us on our predictions for 2022. Check back at the space to see how well we did throughout the year, or just listen to our end of year show from 2022 to see who was the most wrong, which is really what we care about. Who failed, you know. Thank you guys so much for listening. Really appreciate you sticking by us, supporting us this year. It's been a banner year for us in a lot of ways. We didn't even get to talk about all the success on YouTube, our great New York Comic Con that we had this year. Just so many amazing creators that we spoke to, lots of really cool stuff that we were able to do. And I promise that next year is going to be even cooler. I have big plans. We have big plans. It's going to be a ride. Unfortunately, it will be without Pete. Pete, it's been a really incredible 5 years. I'll never forget, the day that I schlepped it over to your house with a notepad to try to figure out what we wanted to do for a podcast, who we wanted to be a part of it, and kind of, brainstormed what would end up becoming the Comics Pals. That was a highlight of my life, and I never felt so creatively connected to somebody. And I think that we pulled it off. We made something really cool. So thank you for taking the journey with me. I'm going to do my best to keep this thing going and going strong. I think that you should be proud of the fact that you had a large hand in shaping what this is. So thank you for that.
Thank you for saying that, Sean. That means a lot to me. And for the last 5 years, this podcast has been such a huge part of my life and my development as a person. And I don't think I would be where I am today if it wasn't for the show, but more importantly the relationship that I've had with each of you. And and I'm immensely proud of the things that we've achieved here, and I am confident that I'm leaving the show in good hands, and that you guys will continue to grow and see that success. And if I have it my way, this will be far from the last time you hear from me on this this show. But I will miss doing it, and I will miss getting to have this open channel to you, the listener, but more importantly, with you guys. So thank you so much to you the listeners, to you the pals, Sean in particular for that first trip, for indulging me, and for taking this ride, because it's been one of the just absolute joys of my life. And and I love you all so much, and I hope that you never forget that.
Speak for Pete here. Sean, good luck with these chuckleheads, huh?
An intentional omission.
It's going to be interesting.
You got Tyler.
Well,
interesting.
I was saving that.
Oh, we can cut that out.
No, it's okay. It's all right. It's all right. We have some bullets in the chamber. 2022 is going to be fun. Well, this is where we would do the plugs. So go right ahead, Pete. Where can people find you that's not here?
Yeah, so if you guys want to keep up with me, the best way to do that is, of course, on social media at @loud_Pete on Twitter and Instagram. Whatever. I'm sure you follow me already. Come keep up with me. I'll still be doing the Flip Screen Game stuff over at flipscreen.games. You can check out my band. I'll still be around the internet. I'll still be around the Discord and everything. So, yeah, I'm around. We're still pals forever. So come chat with me.
All right, Kale.
You may be able to find Phil on 103.9 FM,
Hey.
Philadelphia News anchoring. So if you miss Phil's voice, listen to his Kermit the Frog ass reading the news. Godspeed to you, buddy. You can find him at, for the last time, CYBORGBEBO. P.
There
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at TotoInto. That's TOTOINTOW. You can find my work at caleward.com. That's CALEWARD.com.
Marco.
You can follow me on Instagram at Twitter at Mr. Marco Adamoto. And come talk to me about Swamp Thing. Come talk to me about anime. I'm back on a Gundam binge with some new Netflix releases. So yeah, come chat. Always down for a conversation.
As for me, you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Sean Soapbox. Come talk to me about The Matrix Resurrections. I saw it and I absolutely adored it.
I'm so glad to hear that.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
I know it's like a little divisive. I'm really glad that you enjoyed it.
I don't even understand really why it's so divisive. I think it was brilliant. And I think it was a remarkable movie. It's a head trip. So my Matrix heads out there. If you really mess with the Matrix, then let's talk about it. If you're only a casual fan of the Matrix and you don't like it, I totally get that. Do not reach out to me, because if you are not well versed, this movie will go way over your head.
I do not want to hear your lukewarm ass takes.
No, normally I would not say something like that, but The Matrix is so dense that you really, really have to get it, and so yeah. Or hit me up to talk about anything else. If you have thoughts about the show you want to share, where do you want to see us go next? Anything and everything I'm open to. For these guys, after 270 episodes and hopefully many, many, many more to come, I am Sean saying until next week, take care, guys.
See you next time.
Souls couldn't even hang on for 300.